Hello and good evening for this Thursday, April 20th, 2023. We just finished watching the 10th episode, the finale of Star Trek Picard Season 3, titled The Last Generation. Or is it the next generation? We'll have to talk about all that. We're going to break down this whole episode
and
tonight.
Future generation, perhaps?
Yes, absolutely. Well, maybe. Like, there's a lot of generations, past and present, going on here. Just so you know, if you haven't seen the episode, you definitely should leave now because this will be a full spoiler review. We are going to talk about this episode. We're going to look at all the shots. We're going to talk about the moments and reflect on the season as a whole. I'm Dave Mader. I'm joined tonight with Davan Skelhorn.
The Honorable Maverick.
I forgot. Sorry, I forgot about your. Yeah, you asked me. Like, introduce me as the Honorable Maverick. I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then also joining us tonight, we got Adam Woodward, as he has been for most of the episodes this season. How are you doing tonight, Adam?
I'm good, Dave. Thanks. Hey, Davan.
Hey, man. Hello from Germany, too.
Hello from Germany. And we're talking about this episode. Okay, maybe I'll do this one for now. Okay, so guys,
tell you, fellas, I cried, and since I had never before wept, it was quite something.
Well, Klingons have no tear ducts, so they're not going to weep, you know. So,
exactly.
Okay, I don't know who I want to go to first. Adam hasn't.
I'm
go to Adam first.
I just finished 10 minutes ago, so yeah.
Okay, it's really fresh for you. So,
yeah.
Oh, and also coming in here from Enterprise at 8, we got Jody Simpson.
Hey. Someone with a hot take.
Yes, I woke up actually early to watch this morning. I think I was up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I think Jody, you were up pretty early too, eh?
Yeah.
So, and of course, we've already given our spoiler warning here, but you know, Q shows up in this post-credit scene.
My least favorite scene of the entire season.
But yeah, you know that's got to be a
very important scene, though.
Yeah, very
no,
important. Okay.
Not.
Yep, because it's going to introduce the next show.
Yep.
No, I agree with you there.
Picard Jr.
I think this
Star Trek Legacy.
You know what I would have liked better?
It's been rumored for a while.
Yeah.
This is probably
going
to be
who it should have been? Instead of John Delancey, it should have been Keegan Delancey. It should have been Q Jr. Yes, 100% it should have been, because then you have Q Jr. talking to Picard Jr. and they're carrying on this dance forever. You know what I mean? It would have been beautiful.
I don't hate the idea. I don't know what Keegan Delancey's doing these days in terms of acting, but if he's still working,
doesn't matter. He can do one line.
Sure, but they're like, if John Delancey's available, we'll just get John Delancey, I guess. You know, but okay. So before
I was completely fine with that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Adam, we were going to ask you.
All right.
You just finished it 10 minutes ago. The rest of us had most of the day to think about it. So what's sticking out? What did you like the most, and what maybe you didn't like quite as much?
There's a lot I enjoy, and you know, maybe thinking about. I'm very satisfied with it, Dave. I'm going to start there. It was a very good ending. I think last week we were speculating maybe too much to happen, and you know, different characters to come in that we hadn't seen yet, and they didn't, which is fine. I wasn't unhappy with that. I really liked Seven taking command of the Titan. I thought that was cool. The battle scene, the cloaking, that was neat. That was different. We haven't seen that before.
The cloaking Titan.
The cloaking Titan taking on the whole fleet. That was I enjoyed all that. I think the only scenes I didn't really enjoy was the actual scene with the Borg Queen and Jack and Picard.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to go to Jody next. Jody, same question for you. What did you like? What stood out the most for you? What did you like? And was there anything you sort of were down on after the episode?
I was down on the pacing, and I'll tell you why. And I know you're going to all sit here and go, "What?" This should have been a two-parter, and we should have gotten a little bit more stuff. There was too much, too fast, too quickly.
Kind of was last episode in this one.
Well,
kind of.
Yeah, but when you have this much stuff going on, like it seems like the whole like battle with the the whole fleet, I guess that battle actually wasn't that long. It was like maybe 10 minutes out of the entire episode, whereas the rest was the Borg cube and stuff. Obviously, we got our nice glamour shots of the D. There was a lot of those, which was nice. I really like how the cinematography was done in this episode. I thought it was really well done. Even the CG stuff was really great.
How about the shine on the end of that D?
And I know you're gonna hate me for saying this, especially you, Davan, but
Yeah,
I enjoyed everything Worf in this episode.
Well, that's good.
You're finally learning.
You're right.
He was
Worf was great in this episode. I liked what he did.
Jody a
He didn't
gold
get too much of
star.
him.
Give Worf a show.
The thing that drove me nuts was the fact that we have a lot of expertise with people that don't have those expertise. Like for instance, Troy. So there's a scene with Troy where she's like, "Oh, I know where they are," and she instantly jumps to a console and starts typing in a bunch of shit.
I got nervous. She crashed the Enterprise.
It's like you
What do you think
crashed
these
it the
people
last
been
time
doing?
you touched it, lady.
For the last 30 years.
Not that.
Not learning anything?
She's been
Not
fucking
learning
making
anything?
pizzas and mourning kids. That's what she's been doing.
That's why it was cool with Dr. Crusher on the tactical weapons. I mean,
that made more sense though, because she was more rogue and she's been, fighting different species.
A lot's happened in the last 20 years.
There you go.
I like that.
Where we left Troy, she was trying to expand her skill set.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna if I can just jump in before I go to Davan there or the Honorable Maverick. I think you remember this morning, Dave, I asked you how long this episode would be, and I was expecting you to say 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so it
would have been better if it was 90 minutes.
I'm with you. I think we could have slowed it down just a bit and maybe gone a little further.
Too quick. I didn't even get a chance to sink in one thing, and then another thing happened.
Yeah.
Right. I do agree with some of those sentiments, and I think about the season as a whole. It was like this big mystery for 8 episodes. What was going on with Jack? Yeah. Last episode, they finally revealed the Borg, and then it was like, now the Borg are here, and then it became like this sprint sort of to the finish after that. And
it's been the problem with every Picard season.
Right. I agree.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah.
If they had revealed that it was the Borg maybe a couple episodes earlier, I think
like in the 6th episode, if we figured out it was the Borg and then we had that run up to that and how they're going to deal with it. Like I wanted to know more about these like corpse Borgs. Like it was pretty much glossed over, but it was like, yeah, obviously she's using them to, make
to feed herself. Like she was basically cannibalizing herself.
She's basically eating, essentially eating in
and I guess that's
looked
where
amazing.
It looked great, and we'll get to the visual.
And that's why I wanted more of it, Davan.
Yeah. Okay, Davan, you weren't here last week, but you and I did talk off the podcast. About.
Yes, I said
it was pretty good, but
did that episode for me, but I didn't like it overall story wise as well as a few of the episodes before. That was a bit of a downer episode for me, but the fan service was off the charts, so I gave it a 10 anyway. But it could have been a 9. This one, same thing. No, this one made me cry like 10 times. This one's a 10. But again, same thing though. It's not as well paced as a few like episode like 6, 7, 8 type of thing. But
Technology Live asking, is there any information if the Voyager crew will be seen at some point? Like I think he's talking about.
I can guarantee not in this series.
We had Tuvok in this episode.
Tuvok,
yeah, but that's the one thing I was actually gonna. I didn't want to see Tuvok again. I wanted to see Janeway.
Yeah,
I also wanted to see Janeway. Have her swoop in and help Seven out in that battle. That's
she's
what
busy doing voices for Prodigy.
In the Voyager, which was sitting at Geordi's like little museum.
And they should.
So the Defiant. I wanted to have Cisco and Janeway come in there and be like.
Why didn't they take the Voyager?
The Voyager would have been better for this mission where they go into the cube and they could have flown through the cube. Also,
it's a smaller ship. It's more maneuverable.
They also had the option to separate the saucer section and they just use the drive section, which would make it a smaller ship too to fly through all those.
Yeah, they could have.
They had to leave the bridge, Dave. They didn't want to leave the bridge.
They would have to go to the battle bridge, which would be the.
No one cares what the battle bridge looks like.
Yeah. USS Syracuse battle bridge, actually, because
the cobwebs out of there.
Yeah, I don't know how they crewed this ship for 1,000 people with 7 people, but whatever. You have to suspend.
You can do that though. You can run ships on a skeleton crew. They've done it.
I mean, Captain Kirk did.
You really only need like 5 people to run a ship.
Okay,
for a short amount of time.
Yeah, the rest are there just to be in the background and extras. Yeah, so I think like we'll speculate about what the future of this all is. For me, I really loved the episode, although I think that some of the stuff with the battle with Seven and Raffi and everything going on back there didn't do so well for me.
Point. Remember when Core, when he was old and crazy, ran a ship by himself? No, he did have a couple of crew to go with him. Never mind.
Yeah, but search for
Couple of
Spock, guys.
volunteers.
Search for Spock. They had 5 of them all on the bridge.
Yeah. Exactly.
But they also had a crew.
No, when they took the Enterprise, when they commandeered it, remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. They did. Yeah. Okay, but it wasn't working too well, and they got their ass kicked by the Klingons.
It was also broken.
And then Scotty's like, I wasn't expecting to go into battle. And
That's exactly right.
How about that TOS nod though in this episode? That's a good one. We're jumping around a bit.
Okay, yeah, let's go through the screenshots and we can kind of make sure we don't miss anything. So, guys, to start off,
I like
this
the
episode,
intro. That was cool.
let's see if we can maybe do. Is it this one or maybe this one we'll go
It's
with.
that one, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like so. Instead of the Titan going all wrapping around the Star Trek logo, we get the Enterprise D.
We get the D.
Which was fun.
And we also get that little
yeah.
Borg.
You see the Borg
animation
cube
at the
there
end.
instead of the Shrike.
Oh, yeah. Very
So they
creepy.
updated this. I love seeing the D is still my all-time favorite ship, and I was so excited with it here. And then,
the best thing about this whole episode is that the real hero is the Enterprise D.
yes, I agree. Yeah,
And that was beautiful.
and I think some of the stuff with Patrick Stewart and Jack really did work for me too.
Oh, they nailed
sure.
that. That
Yeah.
scene. Okay, we got to go through it because
Yeah, we see the title card. It goes from
And I like it turns into Borg.
it turns into the Borg, and that was fun.
I like how it's like creeping off and stuff too. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty neat.
and so I guess they were they wanted to reveal this moment in the 10th episode, instead of earlier. So previously on, Jack's a transmitter because of the Borg DNA. There was a Borg sperm or something from Picard and made a Jack
Borg sperm.
inherit some Borg abilities or something. And
Locutus of sperm.
yes, exactly. He went. What was Jack? Oh, yeah, Jack went to the Borg Queen on his own, and his plan was to shoot her, but he couldn't shoot her. That was his whole plan, and he got basically assimilated right after here. We saw the Enterprise
He
F.
inseminated.
Yeah, he was inseminated. We saw the Enterprise F was there on the whole Frontier Day and everything else there. We saw that all the young people under 25 were getting assimilated because of this changeling master plan that they had cooked up with the Borg to
As somebody in my mid 40s, I can relate. I don't trust anybody under the age of 25 anymore.
yeah, including Jody's daughters were assimilated.
Yeah, don't trust them either.
The crew of the Titan. We remember Captain Shaw died, and he was like,
Rest
"You're
in
the
peace,
captain."
Shaw. Rest in
7 of
peace.
9. Of course, the Enterprise D is back in the mix, and
Ooh, Shaw should have lived.
yeah, Shaw
I
should have
agree.
lived. He could have been part of the new show. Anyway, and so that, and of course, Earth is under attack by all of Starfleet because they've been commandeered by the Borg. Picard is in this, roughly 45-year-old.
He feels like Picard again here, though. Other than this kind of like elderly voice, he's like.
Yeah, he feels like he's a little bit back. He's back to being Captain Picard.
Commander.
a captain. Yes,
Yeah.
a captain.
Right.
Mhm.
Enterprise, beautiful. That was how we ended the last episode, and then we come in, start this one. CBS. I love
I
how
love this. This was great.
starts with just like the beginning of a Next Generation's title
Yeah,
sequence.
where it goes to
I
that white.
I
the
might
white
even start
fade.
crying here, just on this.
I loved
Mhm.
this. This was great. I'm like, that was such a good little
Yeah.
homage.
We see the Enterprise at warp, and we hear this voiceover to start off the episode, guys, from somebody we kind of know.
This is President Anton Chekhov of the United Federation of Planets, broadcasting on all emergency channels. Do not approach Earth.
Do not approach
I
Earth.
loved it. Nice
It was-
nod there for Anton Yelchin as well.
Yeah,
I
the sun.
missed that.
You didn't.
Yeah.
This is Walter Koenig doing the voice too.
I know I can hear it.
But I like the fact that they called him Anton. I thought that was great.
I like it better now. That was good.
It's his son. It's Chekhov's son.
Chekhov's son. Yeah. And
Yeah.
remember, Walter Koenig was also on a show called Babylon 5 as Bester.
Never heard of it.
No one cares.
So we're hearing here the Borg are taking over everybody. I feel like this whole president of the Federation thing was kind of like in Star Trek 4, where in that movie the president says, "Don't approach Earth. We're being attacked by whale probes or whatever
Do not approach it at any cost.
Mhm.
at any cost."
Yeah.
And
That's
Picard's
what
here-
this episode needed. Some whale probes.
yeah. So I don't know. There's some. It's looking pretty gloomy here, and then they're like, "We have to get out of here, Mr. President." He was like, "Save yourselves, do what you can, and we'll be okay." And then the connection's lost. So things are looking very dire here for the crew of the USS Enterprise D.
Look at that bridge. Look at that crew on that bridge. That is beautiful stuff. Data in his position there.
Beverly Crusher, yeah, like she's back up there, back with Worf, which she never used to stand back there, but who cares? It looks pretty good in the shot and bounces.
She always just stood off to the side.
She usually like sat kind of to the side of Troy if she did sit at all, or she was in sickbay.
Yeah, she also wasn't on the bridge that much.
No, she wasn't. She was in sickbay. Like and Jody after season 1 was never
season 1 position.
Yeah, he wouldn't even be there either.
Yeah, he in the season 1 he was the pilot. He did sit there until
he also has an engineering station on the bridge in there behind Beverly,
and he does use it. I think at one point, doesn't he?
Well, every station is available on the back.
Yeah, I think these consoles are all sort of interchangeable. But here we also see we get some great visuals of the Enterprise D.
Oh, it's beautiful.
These close-ups, we can actually like see inside the windows, guys.
Yeah, they did a great job on that.
Oh,
some of the best stuff.
Like, I don't know, what was this? I thought this was 10 forward, but that's not 10 forward. Like, that's something else there.
It's like the conference room looks like.
The conference
room? That's the breakout room.
Yeah, that's too high on the ship to be 10 forward. That'd be like
10 forwards. 10 forwards in the middle of the dish.
Okay,
yeah, there's right at the front there.
This is 10 forward here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 10 forward. And so it could be the observation lounge, but this is the bridge, of course. And then this is the observation lounge right here.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, just cool to see the ship in like this new way. Like,
I don't know who keeps pointing it out, but Starfleet really needs to stop putting bridges on the top of their ships.
Yeah, well, that's why they had the battle bridge, and whatever. But it was the idea for where you would go in a crisis. I love this ship.
Even her behind looks good.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny when he's get to Jupiter warp 9, which would take like a blink of an eye.
Yeah. Well, I guess they were coming from whatever planet the Fleet Museum's at. It seems like it's pretty close to Earth.
Yeah.
And and so they go to Jupiter because there's a Borg signal. And then Picard's like, I know where it is. It's right there. Magnify. Give me that right there on that red spot of Jupiter. We see a Borg cube hiding in the gases of Jupiter.
Even
finally a use for Jupiter.
That's like the old view screen. It's even the old view screen. Look at the shape of that view screen. Like,
it's great. Very accurate. Although there were
like a 90s set, like an 80s set. It's great.
Keep in mind though that they did have to change the ratios of the set because of the widescreen.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So they're tracking the signal and like they're trying to filter out for Jack. They're trying to find Jack, and we got to find it here. And then we see like
sitting on that bridge.
This pullback here on the with the Enterprise coming back here from the cube, and we just see how small the Enterprise. Oh, Murphy giving a 10 out of 10 in his comments, guys.
Oh, we finally broke through that cool exterior Andorian exterior of Murphy there.
Yeah. Coming back, and and like just like this ominous imposing threat coming in. Yeah. And that's like where we get to the Picard title card and for the episode title, The Last Generation.
This end storyline here of this season, though, totally redeemed the Borg as a threat again. I mean, they immediately ended again, but this is the first time the Borg.
They're such a threat; they didn't even make it past an episode.
In typical Voyager fashion, I thought, but
but like it's the first time since Locutus of Borg where the Borg did anything that was like kind of scary and sneaky. Like they almost won. The Borg almost took over Earth.
They almost did. And this is I guess my other complaint is this. I just hate the way that this CG battle looked here. It just looked very like rushed and not as cool looking as like the Enterprise D did in this episode.
I didn't like the constant phasers on the. It didn't look like. I would have much rather seen shots like
torpedoes.
Yeah.
This was very boring looking to me. But it was like anyway. We just kind of. I think we see like a sovereign class.
It's funny that the Borg are trying to conserve torpedoes.
Yeah, like don't use all our torpedoes at once. They don't grow on trees. That's it. That's a sovereign class there, isn't it, Davan?
Looks like it.
You're right, it is.
Yeah. And then we're here on the Titan. We see here that all the young.
That was
Borg
the best
drones-
part of the battle. They just zoom into the bridge and she's just going fire, fire,
Fire,
fire,
fire,
fire.
Conserve torpedoes. And we see that it's not just Seven and Raffi who were the only two left on the ship. There's a few others that they've picked up along the way, over 25, I
including
guess.
a cook.
Including a cook. Yeah, so they come to the bridge and
turns out to be a badass, by the way.
yeah, we'll get to him in just a second, but yeah, like this whole thing where they attack the bridge and they have like their phasers can basically beam you right to the transporter room and they can lock you in there. That's so that they're not killing their crew member here.
Well, I like that they didn't really know if they were or not, so they're like, "Yeah, did we
just kill them?" Because
she's like, "No, we're good."
Kids.
Yeah.
You know what I like about that, Dave, was the Starfleet optimism that they don't, they can still save everything.
Well,
yeah. This is Starfleet.
That's what you're supposed to do.
About them being the last of Starfleet, I friggin' teared up and cried there, boys. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think Shaw would have done that. I think Shaw would have just gone there and killed everybody.
This is my other little complaint in the episode is that Jody LaForge's daughters, as well as I don't know whatever this other character's name is from the bridge, they play terrible zombies. They were very blah zombies. I thought like this.
I have
Jordy's
a problem
red
with
shirt daughter.
His actual daughter. I have a problem with her acting. She's not good.
She didn't know, I liked her okay before, but when she had to play a Borg, it was just like very stiff.
This entire episode, she's like, eh.
Like the red shirt daughter, when they finally get the door open, she totally loses character and sort of like doesn't look like a Borg at all. She smiles and sort of like it's like, oh man.
Yeah, this wasn't working for me so well. I did like when she was like out of the trance at the end of the episode, and Seven hugs her. That was good. But like all of this before, I thought was kind of blah. Yeah, we see here this little device they've added to the rifle to turn it into basically a portable transporter device.
Slick again, a slick Star Trek engineering solution. Like this. Yeah. This is a great Star Trek episode.
Raffi?
My point is that with all going on, they took the time to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Seems like
they're on pending doom, and they're like
they might have bigger things to worry about. But these are characters they might want for a new spinoff, Jody. So they don't want to kill them.
Most likely.
I'm going to
kill Jordy's daughter.
My first point: the Starfleet optimism, they're going to still win. Yeah, and they can't kill everybody.
Yeah,
not the cook.
I still think they're setting up legacy for
why do they need a cook on a ship that has replicators?
She's replicated.
So that way in 20 years they can have Jonathan Frakes pretend to be the chef.
Right. In a hologram. Okay. Yeah. So where Seven's like, hey, everyone get to their stations. And he's like, hey, I'm just like I did pull his clip here. Where is this?
I think Frakes should have played this character.
Frakes should play the character.
That would have been funny, yeah.
Ma'am, I'm just a cook. I had lunar flight class training, but I didn't finish. I was close, but my mom got sick, and I had to run the deli back home because my brother had a hernia.
You were a pilot. That makes you a pilot.
Yeah.
Oh, no, even better. Scott Bakula should have played that character.
Or Mayweather.
Okay.
Travis.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not that guy. Anyway, so she puts him, she's like, you're not a pilot. We need you. We only have so many people. Also, just on this cook, uniform alert. I thought at first he was going to be a cadet or something, but no, I guess cooks wear gray. They wear non-division color. So
well, it's a chef coat. It even buttons like a chef coat.
It does actually, yeah. I never noticed that.
So it's the Titan versus the entire fleet, guys. And it's also
depends on how you look at it, because it didn't look like that to me. But anyway,
the Enterprise D versus the entire Borg cube here. Well, they've done that before though.
They've done that a couple times.
Yeah. Anyway, and Deanna, do you sense anything? Of course, Deanna says what she always says.
I've never felt anything like this before.
Anything.
It's always a new sensation for Troy. She's never felt this before. It's a slightly different than before.
She's the one character out of the original series characters that I think really didn't do it for me. I didn't like her in here.
She had her moments, but yeah, like more in the last episode, I thought. But
I loved when she got up and did her piloting later.
And the stuff between her and Frakes was great. Like I liked.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That was pretty decent.
Anyway, so Worf points out, like, what if Jack is too far gone here? Because Dan is like, I feel Jack, but it's something I've never felt before, and something's wrong.
Classic Worf saying like the one thing everyone's thinking, but everyone has enough sense to not say aloud.
Right.
He's just like,
well, and later
what if
on,
we
when
have to kill Dr. Crusher's son?
When he's on the Borg cube, he keeps talking about how he's going to die today.
Well, when Worf says that, there's this look between Troy and Riker. I wasn't sure if that was about their son or if it was about the fact that, you know, maybe
No, it was about. No, I'll tell you what it was about, and it comes up later in the episode. It's in that moment, Riker decides that he's not leaving without Picard.
Yeah,
right.
Actually, I did like his little line where he's like, which is later in the episode, but it's like, you know, I can give him 1 minute, he's given me a lifetime or something like that.
Yeah.
I like that line.
This is so good. Like I cried so many times. I just sat here in freaking tears, and then I had to go pick up the baby at daycare.
Hey,
so it probably looked like nuts.
Picard was Riker's wife before Troy was.
No, she was right. Troy and Riker go back further than the show.
But there's always been
they do.
That
Zodi goes back way further.
They've had that bromance forever.
Zodi. Well, and Riker's known Jody even longer than anybody else, but because they were on the USS Hood together.
Not that they acknowledge that very often in the show. But...
No, not really.
Yeah,
but they did come over from the same ship when they came to the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
that on Encounter Farpoint.
They're tracking the wavelengths. They're trying to isolate Jack's signal, and they kind of find Jack. Jack has human brainwaves. He's not a Borg. He's not fully assimilated yet, so he still has hair, and therefore his brainwaves are.
They should have looked for hair.
Right.
That would have been quicker.
So Picard decides, like, I have to go save Beverly, and he wants Beverly to stay behind. She wants to go, and this was the whole thing where like Riker's like, I'm coming too. And
I love this line too.
we're
Let's make it a threesome.
You're not going alone. And I will make it a threesome. Do you even hear yourself?
Do you even hear yourself?
I've just been saying slightly weird shit like for the last few episodes.
Some of the comedy wasn't great. She didn't like all the jokes and stuff, but
I like the fact that Worf was used as the joking part of the episode. I liked it.
I thought the humor was some of the best stuff.
I'm not a fan of Worf, as we all know, but I really
wrong, Jody.
Episode. Yeah, well,
I'm
right way more than I'm wrong, Davan.
It's not about Worf. It's been established in Deep Space Nine that Worf likes being funny. So he's just having everybody on.
He plays the straight man, but he's actually
plays the straight man, but he does have humor.
He knows what he's doing more than you think he does. Anyway, there's this look here between Troy and Riker. I thought for sure somebody's dying. Either Picard's dying, or Riker, or Worf, or all three, or something.
Well, I thought it was actually going to be Picard, but then they're like, they've already done that before.
He did say, he's like, it's been an honor serving with all you. It really feels like this could be a farewell for him or for one of these other characters, especially Riker and Troy are giving all these looks, and you're like, is Riker going to die? In this episode?
I'm not going to lie, guys.
They all made it though.
Yeah,
I got a bit excited
me too.
when I thought that somebody was going to die, and I thought it was going to be Worf.
I didn't want any of them to die. I was kind of getting nervous here, but they were kind of making us feel like. But I think this was good to make us feel like there were some stakes here, and like that somebody could come out here. And then Beverly stays behind. She's going to guide the away team through. The looks here as they're leaving on the turbo lift. We never get to see it. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It just would have been very the best of TNG, which they're trying to do here, for them not all to survive, because that was the thing. Like, no matter how bad it got, they always came home because the Enterprise D always got them home. Like McCoy said in Counter at Farpoint, treat her right and she'll always bring you home.
Right. Well, they kind of say that at the end of the episode too. Jordy's like,
well, then why would you let Troy touch consoles?
There's only 7 of them. They need hands. Stations.
Just like she's a competent commanding officer.
She's fucking crashed it before, dude.
Well, that was already
Riker.
That was already happening. Riker did too. Anyway, so the threesome heads
to
over
be a
here to
great
the Borg cube. We find these Borg over on the cube, guys. They were all decomposing.
This is the biggest travesty of the entire episode. I want to know more about this.
The Borg Queen was just eating them to keep herself alive.
I don't care. Yeah. I still want more of that. And they didn't give me. They went through the trouble of giving me these corpse fucking Borg.
What more do you want?
awesome.
What do you
want
wanna
more
know?
backstory. I want to know why she has to do that. I want to know all that.
Janeway gave the virus.
She was
I
blown
know
up
it's the
at the end of
virus,
First
but I want
Contact.
more than that.
Like we saw, like Janeway like assimilate this or whatever, or
Assimilate this.
yeah. And so I guess this is what has been going on for the last 20 something years, where the Borg Queen has just been slowly dying and she's been eating up all her drones and whatever.
She talks about aging, and she talks about starving and aging, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The fact that like Riker's like there should be thousands of drones here, but it isn't. It's very quiet, and he doesn't like a quiet place. Not the movie, but
Not a
just
quiet
I don't
place.
blame him. You ever see that movie? Holy shit.
yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty scary.
It's pretty scary.
It was okay.
Anyway, so I don't know. Crusher is like guiding them over the comm, saying they have to go there, and then Picard's like, "This is where the central plexus is, or something." And Riker's like, "How could you know that?" But they're like, "Even in your android body, there must be some part of you that's still connected to the hive, even though it's not his original body."
Can we just pretend that android body thing never happened? That just ruins.
They bring it up all the time.
I freaking wish they wouldn't.
Yeah, well,
They bring it up more in season 3 than they did in season 2.
yeah, it seems like they're willing to acknowledge season 1, but season 2 they kind of really gloss
Season 2,
over.
they're just kind of like, it happened, but we
Nothing
didn't-
happened, and then Q dies, and then Q's back. So
Back,
they really
yeah,
didn't care.
and
about
then in season 2, the Borg were supposed to be like joining the Federation, but now
Well,
they're evil
and even
again.
in this episode, they mentioned Guinan is there, but you don't see her.
yeah, I was
So
like,
it's like that pissed me off too.
right.
I didn't really miss not seeing.
But there's this good
I
vibe.
look at Guinan as
Yeah.
being part of a crucial part of that crew.
I did love this
She
moment
was in
here.
like 10 episodes. Yeah, like, it's not very many.
I did love this moment here where Picard says goodbye to these two, because he said goodbye to the people on the bridge, and it feels like he's like, okay, I'm going to go on because I'm not going on as a captain anymore. I'm going on as a father.
Well, thank you. It means so much to me. Know that I
Oh
know.
man, that
Always.
okay, I started crying again.
Wolf, there are two turns of phrase a Klingon never admits to knowing: defeat and farewell.
But just the whole, I know, like with
Oh, I
Riker.
love that. That was the bromance.
Yeah,
there.
I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
good, because they
Oh,
never
you
did-
know, I know.
They didn't do enough in the movies between Riker and Picard as the first officer and captain. Data was, I thought, pushed too hard in those movies, and I love that they brought
Yeah.
that element back here.
But you know what was great too in this whole storyline, right from the first episode, is they started on this high, and they hit a low. Man, like get off my bridge type thing.
Right.
And episode
Yeah,
5, and here they are ending properly. Yeah.
And
This
Worf,
season was really kind of the Riker Picard romance season, wasn't it?
a little bit, yeah, for sure, yeah. And I'm not complaining. I really enjoyed it to see how those two back together.
He's like, for putting your life on the line for me again is basically what he's thanking him for there. Because like you keep risking your life for me, and vice versa, of course. So.
Right. Like this whole idea that they're family and everything, and that really rings true. So Riker and Worf go off, and Picard's on his own, and Beverly's leading him through, and then he's like, "It's okay, you did the right thing not telling me about Jack's birth because you were keeping him safe, Beverly, and it was everything you did. I forgive you, basically."
Which was dumb.
I didn't really like it. But I think he's like, I might be dying in a second, and so I'm not going to go out on a bad note, and I'm going to, and so
I think she did again. Gates McFadden did a nice thank you. I needed to hear that.
Me too. It was really good. I enjoyed it too. Her acting in the scene, like she's just reacting. I guess Patrick Stewart's probably off camera doing the lines, right? But it was really strong, I thought, on her part. And then Picard goes into the chamber and he finds Jack with his own locutus thing, but he's Vox of Borg. He is Vox. And then Picard looks up and it's Jack is like controlling, of course, all that Federation fleet at Earth. But we get the Queen here. We get the Alice Kriege reveal, and we finally get to see her face. And she's been like, I don't know, decomposing, I guess.
It's not actually her, though. I don't think.
No, was
Yes,
this
it
a real?
is.
No,
it was
it
her
isn't.
real voice. It was
It's
her
her
Alice,
voice.
It's her voice, but I don't like. Was this a person or was this like a puppet or what was going on? Like,
No, this
I
was a
thought it
person,
was really her.
but I don't think it's her.
It's no, I don't think it's her doing the performance.
Because
like,
if you look at the credits, it keeps saying her as
the voice
of
of
Queen.
Alice Krieg. So
does it?
yeah. So I think it's somebody else doing the performance, and then they just dubbed her, which I'm fine with. It worked, you know.
But by the way, Davan, 28 episodes. Guinan was in 28 episodes.
Oh, fine.
That's not a lot, really. There was 100.
Still not a lot.
176 episodes total. Yeah.
It's like one season's worth of episodes.
And she really wasn't in them. She had a couple of lines.
Some episodes
still in 'em.
more than others, but yeah.
She's still in them. I stand by it.
Guinan
You
Wesley
know what,
deserved
Jody,
cameos.
I like Worf a hell of a lot more than like Guinan. So
Well, I like both. I like both.
One of the best Worfs of all time is in this episode, though. Like there was a time today when I feared
He was fun in this episode for sure.
Yeah, well, I liked Picard working against the Borg Queen. I thought Patrick Stewart did some amazing acting in this episode.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job. I think everybody for the most
for
part
82, you know, he was bringing it. You know,
I like that. I like
of
that.
bringing back
sorry.
that Alice Krieg Borg Queen because I didn't really want to see the Borg anymore. But just how decrepit and scary she was, it almost made it okay. I was like, well, she is actually kind of friggin' scary. Like,
yeah, she's almost pathetic, you know, in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Yeah.
the line where she was saying, "We're not interested in assimilation anymore. We're interested in evolution." Yeah.
Well, they just want revenge, and that's why they teamed up with the Changelings. They were just going to
that was cool.
just ruin their lives, basically.
And just so I redeem myself, I really did like Guinan in Generations. That was
me too.
Yeah, she was good in Generations. Yeah.
Great finale, says Chaotic Truth Live. Yep.
I agree.
Guinan was good in yesterday's Enterprise as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
the whole Riker you were doing.
Knives are more fun. Yeah, I love that.
Swords are fun. Yeah,
Swords
okay,
are
back
fun,
to and this battle, like I hate the way it looks. Anyway, and this whole thing where there's a 17OD out by
Okay,
Jupiter.
I have a problem with this scene. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. Raffi should know what that fucking ship is, and I don't know why she wouldn't. She served with this guy.
I know. I agree with
Like
you.
she should
served
know
with
what the
Picard.
D is. Like,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
Yeah.
it's also like Academy reading. We already know this. Like their antics. Remember Shaw said that.
Yeah, I read about your antics. Like she should know who it is. And Raffi acts like this is the most newest information she's ever received in her life.
Yeah,
She's like, I don't know what this ship is, but it just showed up.
Yeah, but you know what? She stoned a lot, so maybe she forgot.
I think you might be onto something. But she was like,
Well,
the
so
Enterprise-
it's also possible she's not saying it like that.
Yeah, see, even
She's saying it
Worldmind Murphy tells me the same
No, but
thing.
she's saying like the 1701D, like that thing's it's destroyed.
How could that
It's not
be?
that she doesn't know what it is. It means
it came off way different than that though.
It came off a little weird, but I think that's what she was going for.
That was not even the part that bothered me, that she didn't know the code. The part that bothered me more that she was like, that ship's ancient. What is it going to do against anything? I'm like, you shut your mouth, Raffi.
You shut your
The
whore mouth,
Enterprise D,
Raffi.
goddammit.
The Enterprise D is better
Don't you
than the
dare
Titan.
talk
It's
about
better than
D
any
like
of this
that.
other CGI garbage I'm
It's the
seeing.
hero
here.
ship of
D
hero
like
ships.
that all you want, but you don't talk about the D like that.
Yeah, like no, like
the D.
you don't talk about her. She's a lady.
We
know?
love the D here on Enterprise.
We love it. We are
Love
all
the
up on
D.
the D.
We're all about the D.
It came off like she had no idea, and Seven was like, it's cool. They're gonna save the day, and so are we. And then she tells the pilot, or the cook pilot guy, okay, we're gonna fly and attack the entire fleet. And he was like, how are we gonna beat hundreds of ships or thousands of ships or whatever it is?
He's
They
even
should
wearing
give
his
this guy his own
futuristic
show.
hairnet.
Yeah,
Like, he's in his cook's gear.
he's got a
He has his
hairnet. Yeah, you're
hairnet.
right.
He's like,
Yeah.
you know, all this shit was happening, and I was sitting prepping food.
Oh, it was something. He even looks at like the
I
other
was making
guys.
some really spicy hospital.
But we get a 7 of 9 speech here where she's like, listen, you're not just fighting for
Speech.
you, you're fighting for all of your families, you're fighting for your planet. Like, we have to try here, guys. We have or die trying. It was a good speech, good 7 of 9
This
stuff.
speech convinced me that I'm ready for the Captain 7 show.
Yeah, me
as
too.
Captain of the Enterprise. I'm ready.
I
for
don't
it.
know. I'm
Star
skipping
Trek
ahead.
Legacy.
I don't know if I'm super down for the,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Raffi first officer thing, because like,
No, because they're in a relationship. and
or
that-
they
But
were,
they're not,
or
though. Are
They're
they?
not anymore.
even if they're not, like,
Well, if they're not, then that's fine.
They're probably not.
guess.
Well, I guess the Orville has that with the, but it's.
Yeah, who cares about the Orville?
I love the Orville.
Whoa,
I love
whoa,
the
whoa,
Orville,
whoa!
too.
Settle down. The Orville's a good show.
Yeah.
No,
But yeah, that's
Farland ego dribble.
it doesn't have Worf on it, so therefore it's shit, eh? Okay.
No, it has Seth
Hey,
MacFarlane.
we're getting on a
That's why.
tangent, guys. Back to Picard. But anyway, this is the other thing that I kind of raised an eyebrow.
The Titan has a tramp stamp. I always thought that was funny.
Titan.
It
But
does
the,
too. That's what funny.
They used the cloaking device. Remember, this cloaking device came from the HMS Bounty, a 150-year-old bird of prey. Why would the
Klingon
Borg-
technology, Dave?
It's old Klingon technology though. Like it's I don't
fine.
understand how this advanced fleet, which Raffi was just laughing at the Enterprise D for being an antique, that they would not be able to detect this ship under cloak, like a crappy Klingon cloaking device from so far back.
Might not be
But
looking for that
if you're
type
not
of
looking for
signature.
something, you're not going to find it.
Yeah.
They
not
were looking for them.
Yeah, but they weren't looking
Not
for
as
a
a
cloak
cloak.
ship.
Later on, once they start firing, they
tachyons.
keep cloaking and decloaking, attacking them, and the Borg are like, "What's happening? We have to." They're using predictive algorithms to figure out where they're going to come out of the cloak. Anyway, nitpick. It's a nitpick. It's okay. And so back to the Borg stuff here with Picard and the Queen and Jack, in his trance, and Picard trying to shoot at her, but she's got force fields, so
Of course she is. That was a dumb idea. But
He-
you got to
like
try.
father like son. I'm just gonna show up with a phaser and hope I can win this. Well, he at least tries something after this.
Well, that'd be very anticlimactic if he literally just shot her dead right there.
Yeah, he just comes in, boom, and then
You're like, wow, this
I
wasn't.
would have
hard.
laughed my friggin' ass off though if that happened.
like when Indiana Jones just shoots the guy who's like got all the swords. He's like, yeah, more of the Queen. Oh, it's very creepy. Yeah, Jack doing his little talk to himself, or he's in a trance or whatever. And then we see here go over to Worf and Riker. They're trying to hack the Borg signal or something.
Yeah, there's tons of assimilated Klingons. We've seen tons
Yeah.
of assimilated Klingons.
Yeah, they've been assimilated Klingons. Yeah.
Entire Klingon bird of prey that were assimilated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was in Voyager. There was like this Klingon guy from the Unimatrix. Was it Unimatrix Zero? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, this one, assimilated vessel 80279. It's an assimilated bird of prey.
There you go. And then we see not all these Borg drones are dead. Like some of them are awoken here, and they start attack. So the Borg only attack you once you're a threat. I guess once you start shooting at them or trying to interfere with their plans, which they've been doing.
How often is this crew going to make that mistake though? Actually, the Voyager crew might have did it more, but if the Borg are sitting still,
Voyager
they just
crew did it
ignore
all
them.
the time.
They're like, they're just chilling. I'm sure these Borg aren't going to wake up any second, and of course they always do.
Yeah, they always right when you're about to thwart them, then the Borg step into action. They're not proactive all the time.
No, but there you go. That's why they didn't find the cloak. They're not proactive.
They're not proactive. Yeah, we see the Titan comes out of the cloak, and it's one ship against thousands. I was just like, okay,
They should have been blown up. That's fair.
At best, they're like annoying the Borg, and so it was just kind of like. I
mean, that was the best they could have hoped for when they started their plan. The best they could do was annoy them, really.
But they're not really destroying anything. They're just
7 or 9 said they're just buying the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is all
them from
distraction
their
techniques, and so that the Borg, I guess, won't attack the Enterprise D
cities. No,
cities.
They were targeting all the Earth cities. Remember?
Eventually, once the shield goes down. The shield hasn't kind of gone down yet because I think that the defenses are still holding at this point. But yeah, more Borg waking up. Some great makeup work here on the Borg, I thought, in the episode. This close-up looked amazing.
Oh, yeah. They put a lot into this.
Yeah. And then there's more, I don't know, there's stuff with Jack and the Queen, and I don't know, it goes back, because we're cutting back and forth to it all the time. We see that the Borg on the Titan are able to get out, and the Borg are attacking Riker and Worf. They even destroy Worf and Riker's phasers here, very quickly. These Borg actually can shoot projectiles, and they're a little bit more
Okay, so I just looked this up. The Borg Queen was played by Jane Seymour, but not the Jane Seymour we know. It's a
Not
different
from Dr.
Seymour.
Quinn.
Dr.
Medicine
Quinn,
Woman?
medicine woman.
It's not Dr. Quinn. No, it's Jane Edwina Seymour.
Dr. Quinn, Borg Queen woman.
That'd be awesome though.
She could
Anyway.
have played a Borg Queen.
Yeah. We see here Worf and Riker have to like actually tussle here with the Borg hand to hand, and Worf cuts off one of the arms.
Wow,
and-
it's more like Worf has to tussle with them.
Well, Riker got knocked out right away. He's gone.
Yeah,
right.
he pretty much had like one snap and he was done. Worf did everything else.
yeah.
He
Worf
got
gets shot. He got
Yeah.
shot right in the shoulder. And I was like,
And then he gets shot like 10 more times.
It's just a flesh wound.
it's merely a flesh wound.
Tis but a
think he's-
scratch.
Yeah, he
He's
gets shot.
armored up these days too. He's not wearing the freaking old TNG jumper.
That's true. Yeah.
So
Which
and
protects
then
you from nothing.
the fight comes over here to the Enterprise, where the Borg cube actually starts attacking the Enterprise.
This entire sequence was just nothing but eye candy.
I loved it. You know, beautiful here, and they're going around. Jody was left in command too, which I thought was fun.
Brent Spiner was great in this episode too. I
Absolutely,
love this new, like he's basically he's Data, but has taken on like the best parts of lore. Like he
Yeah.
enjoys things.
Lore's
but
edginess.
also-
You know,
Yeah, he's got his
I, wish,
edginess.
I honestly
I
wish they
hate
would have
Borg.
done that years ago with him, like in the movies.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
they did a little bit, and then like they just literally put it
No,
aside.
but they didn't though. They almost did. You know.
yeah. But
Well,
now
he
it's like-
started with the emotion chip in Generations, and then he
just turned it off all the time.
he just
turned it
he
off.
just turned it off and on.
Now
Whenever
he's
he
just
felt like
Brent
it.
Spiner with contact lenses. So
Yes.
he's just
I love it.
yeah.
Which is fine. I'm okay with
I
that.
always wanted to see Brent Spiner wear contact lenses.
Yeah, I know about no other makeup, I guess. You know, so the fight here, I don't know. Worf's going off, and he's like, "Take my sword." And I love how he was like, "I had no idea it was that goddamn heavy." You know,
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
when he
just
pulls it
drops
out.
it
And he's
right
just
to
like,
the-
"Thump."
yeah. He's like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "No, the hilt."
Makes me wonder how he got that pizza oven to his cottage there.
Yeah,
You had to sit there the whole time? A phaser? You didn't use it?
Swords are fun.
Swords are fun.
Swords are fun.
He's right.
You can't argue with him.
Yep.
A lot of intercutting here. Riker eventually, he takes the phaser. He starts shooting the Borg. Good thing they didn't adapt. So
Those two are the best together too, Worf and Riker. As soon as
I
they
agree.
split off, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to leave you two alone," I was like, "Yes, it's gonna be a
Beverly's
Worf
bomber
Riker
run
buddy
gave you
mission."
such a boner.
yeah, that's
I love
coming right
that.
up here, where Jordy's like,
Oh, yeah.
"Okay, fire
It was
phaser,
sick.
Beverly, you're gonna have to do it manually," and she's like, "No problem." And then
He's like, I've been doing this for 20 years. No big
And
deal.
the
Boom,
music
boom, boom.
starts to play.
Oh,
Yeah, but you know
All
what was
these
great
shots
was,
with the D.
was the looks the other guys gave her, including Data.
Yeah, everybody's just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like, Beverly did that?
yeah, but this was all eye candy too. I was loving this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then everyone just like Beverly. You know, and she's like, a lot's happened in 20 years. You know,
20 years?
yeah,
20 years? Rip.
Exactly. And they're all like just looking at each other like, we really don't know Beverly anymore. Anyway, so yeah, Riker. Yeah, this is the whole thing where swords are fun. Oh yeah,
And
and
also
then
where he says he's just like, "I was worried we were gonna survive today."
yeah,
I love that line.
it comes a little later. I thought we were actually gonna get to
Oh.
live. But
Yeah.
so they said so Worf and Riker send the information to Troy, who then she's like, okay, we got the signal on the thing, but Data's like, yeah, it's in the middle of the Borg cube. And then
Yeah.
Geordi's looking at it. He's like, man, like there's no way we can go through all
I
that.
like this scene. They downplayed it so much, but I liked it. I liked that interaction between Data and Geordi, though, because Data's like, I want to go with my gut. And Geordi's like, okay, let's do
Yeah,
it.
I did pull that as a clip. Here
I
we
love
go.
it. It's a good one.
Tells me I should do this. Your gut? Yes.
You've got to be sure, Data.
Please, everyone, just trust me.
So this is
Also,
the scene
like-
I gotta say, guys, I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy as much. I
Really?
just kept getting like now they're attacking the Death Star. You know,
Well, it's a Borg cube.
Yeah.
It's basically a Death Star.
Kind of
Number
kind of
one,
a little bit.
if it was a sphere, I'd say yes. I like your analogy, but I'm going to dismiss it.
Cubes are different. They got 6
They're
sides.
different.
So
The relay they're trying
Just
to
kidding, Adam.
destroy is spherical.
Whatever.
True.
I didn't enjoy it. I'm sorry. I was waiting for the scene to
That's
end,
fine.
and I was happy when it passed.
okay,
What I
what
did like
bothered
about
you?
this scene,
I just,
Oh,
we got to go in there with the Millennium Falcon and find the core and blow it up.
Yeah. Well, I think that was just
Understood.
like
I
we
didn't
have
think
to
about
wrap
that,
this up in like the next little bit.
There was no Grogu though.
No.
No, there wasn't. Thank God.
Yeah.
I like that it
I mean, thank
showed
God.
off
I love
Data's piloting prowess, because obviously he would be a wicked pilot, and TNG never showed that. They always looked for a pilot elsewhere. It's like, you have Data here.
Why do you
Data
get
can
Data
do
to do it? He
anything.
can do it better
It's
than
super
anybody
fast
else.
calculate. Exactly, of course he can. So
Yeah.
they finally showed that, and I was just like, finally.
Why didn't Jellicoe
Like, I
get?
loved this.
why
So the
didn't
only
Jellicoe-
thing I'll say to that comment is self-driving cars. They're run by computers and they fuck up constantly. So you can't tell me that Data wouldn't screw up either.
he would
He
never.
would.
Yes, because Data's better than a Tesla.
Well, that's probably very true, but still.
Troy says, I'm why am I feeling excitement, guys? And we see here as he's flying through, he's having quite a bit of fun here along the way.
I wanted to see like them like fall out of their chairs completely though, not just like a little bit.
You're all wrong. This was famously done in the documentary Spaceballs.
That is quite a documentary. Comb the desert.
Like I couldn't help but think like,
Shit.
if you separated the saucer
Tuvok,
section,
actually.
this
So there's the
flight
Star Trek connection.
would be
That's
so
true.
much
Tuvok
easier.
was in there.
Okay,
Maybe
and this is my other big like nitpick pet peeve for the entire whole episode. My only complaint about this Enterprise D, those impulse engines on the saucer section should be lit up red, and they're not. They're cold, and it seems like they're only using this impulse engine that's on the dry section. And you would definitely want 3 impulse engines for this flight. That's my little thing.
But I believe they fire off based on maneuvering.
They would need maneuvering. They never light up the entire episode, Jody. It's not just in this one still.
Okay.
You never see them lit up. And I'm just like, ugh. Yeah. We see. Yeah.
I say we don't even bother reviewing this anymore.
You don't like my nitpick, Jody?
We're done now. We're done. They screwed that up so bad.
They've crossed us, exactly.
Yeah, we're done.
Does that not bother you?
No.
Dallas.
The impulse engines.
Not good enough.
Not good enough, damn it. Not good enough. I say, yeah, okay. When this is where the shields.
I agree with Adam on this though, because Adam mentioned earlier that like there was way too much phaser fire going on. I agree. It got to the point where it was just ridiculous.
It just looked like a mess.
Like
It's like
it looked like one of those
compare
Plinko games. Remember the Plinko where you had all the little
Oh yeah,
sticks?
yeah.
Take them
If you
out.
compare this to like the battles we saw in Deep Space Nine, like this looks like trash. Like
I
Yeah,
agree.
and you know what, Dave? I mean, also too is like the one thing in Enterprise I really felt hit home was when they showed Florida hit. The 7 million people, and they had again that opportunity when they're attacking or targeting the cities. And I don't know if they actually bombed them or whatever happened. Did it happen or did it?
No, they were about
No,
to.
it didn't.
It didn't
What
happen.
you were seeing was the Borg calculating where they were gonna.
Yeah, but again, like impact, hit one. We didn't see any. I would have just.
It would have been. It would have been more.
Got off a little too scot-free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I watched the finale of The Mandalorian, and I watched this. They were right almost back to back.
Don't ruin the Mandalorian. I haven't.
I'm not gonna ruin it, but there's some great space battles in the finale, and I'm like comparatively, like that looks fantastic. That and this looks like very poor in comparison. Not
They
the stuff with
spent
the
way too
Enterprise, but
time on those D glory shots though.
no, they did. They put all
They
their money
did.
into that, and I'm glad if you're gonna put your money anywhere, put it into the.
You might
those
as well
scenes
put
with
it into the
and
D
the
glory
board.
shots. Yeah.
But like, and this is just looks like the same stuff we've been dealing with for all 3 seasons of Picard, which doesn't look very good to me. So
I don't know. In the second season, when they had like the Armada show up, that was pretty cool.
No, I thought it was just copy and paste. Like it just looked
Was
like
copy and paste.
and just
There's
I
no-
miss the models.
When you look at the Battle of Wolf 359, when you had ships flying and information, and these guys were just sitting still, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But the Borg
They-
were controlling them. They were all.
Well, that was after the
Battle of
battle.
Wolf 359 we missed. We don't see that.
But the Deep Space Nine battles, if you've seen those,
yeah,
like
those were great.
Those were great. Those were mostly done with models, I think.
You do see a bit of the battle, Davan, when Picard's on wherever he is on a cube and he's fighting them, right?
Yes, that's true.
Oh yeah, that's.
But this is the point where they're targeting every major city on Earth, or whatever. Oh, and their cloak has been destroyed. We see here that the LaForge daughters are destroy the cloak from the bounty.
Bloody LaForge daughters.
Yeah,
they will end the Federation single-handedly.
One day. And then back to Jack here and the Borg Queen and Picard. And he starts just ripping wires out. I don't know why he didn't do this earlier. He was just like, I'm just going to yell at Jack for a while. And then that doesn't work. I'm going to resort to this. He starts pulling them out. She doesn't really send any drones at him or try to stop him or anything.
Well, she ate all
her drones. Yeah.
Not all of them.
Yeah, there ain't that many left. Maybe there was only 2 left, and then
she was down to her final 2.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, that's why she had to attack.
So, yeah, I guess
she needs more food. She wants her baby back ribs.
I guess so. Yeah, and we see here that the Titan's about to be destroyed by the entire fleet. Everything's going really bad. Back to the Enterprise flying.
Oh, look at that sexy little bit.
Oh, it looks good. Why aren't those impulse engines lit up?
Why aren't those
impulse engines fired up?
Maybe this is the redesign from Jody. This is a redesigned Enterprise, remember, Dave.
Well, he didn't fix the impulse engines?
Well, maybe he made it so just Tuesday, the one Dave. Is all that.
Tuesday.
They're getting installed on Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday. Exactly.
Tuesday. Yeah. Remember how when Shelby wanted to separate the saucer section and Riker said, we might need the power from the Enterprise's impulse engines?
Who?
The saucer section's impulse engines. I'm like, they're clearly not even working. So you don't even have full power. It seems.
Oh, they're using that power.
He was rebuilding the ship. I don't think it was totally
done. Maybe he wasn't done. You're right. Maybe he hadn't finished the refit.
He's working with what he's got.
And we just got the one on the drive section here. But anyway, they get to like the center of it here to blow up the Death Star at Adam's point. And they're there, and then they're about to fire, but
like,
Jody
where's
says,
the exhaust port?
Wait, if you blow this up, we'll blow up the whole thing and we'll kill Picard and Riker. And
where's the exhaust port? I can't find it.
Yeah. So there's kind of like this whole
discussion. In the captain's chair was great.
And they're left with this dilemma: do we blow up the Borg cube and save the entire galaxy, or do we wait and save our 4 friends?
Well, the needs of the many.
Yeah,
outweigh the needs of the few.
Right. So
Star Trek, which this is.
Is it
right? And and like Jody looks at Beverly here. I thought there was some good acting here. So they played the scene well.
This is the only time I actually think Beverly has done good in this entire season. I don't think her acting has been that great.
I think it's been okay.
Gates McFadden is a great actor.
I'm more about the way they've written her character.
I think it's the writing. I don't think it's her.
In terms of like her actions,
she was much better written in this episode.
But the way Gates delivers it, I think, is completely believable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you look at her scenes when she was with her son, and it very much changed as soon as he was separated from her.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think her role changed when Jack wasn't around.
And she becomes the tactical officer. And so like Jordy's like left with we have to try it up to the last minute. Worf kind of pulls himself together here after he gets shot, and they're listening to this whole dilemma, like when do they fire on the Borg cube or whatever. Troy's like, Riker's totally gonna die in this scene. So they're waiting and they're waiting. This is where
even Riker says something along the lines of like, I'll be there.
They could have beamed them out. They could have beamed out Worf or Riker or both of them, but they decided not to. And Worf's like, I thought we were actually gonna get to live, and he was like, wow, we dodged that one. Yeah, that was fun. They're like, we could actually get out of this hellhole, but we got to go save Picard and Jack. So they're gonna go. And Picard's still pulling out wires here on Jack on the little thing. They had time to get Jack into that suit somehow. I'm not sure, but
and later on when you see him back on the D bridge, they've ripped off the thing off of his face. I'm like, why was that important right now? Like,
I guess they didn't want him to have it for the scene.
His mom is a fucking doctor,
surgeon. She could do it.
It's still on his face, isn't it?
No, when he comes to the bridge, it's like
when he comes on the bridge, it's not there anymore.
It's like he pulled it off at makeup and just went to the
Yeah.
The room here. Yeah. So Picard goes desperate. He's like, he can't like seem to help Jack by pulling out wires or just yelling at him. So he decides to go and stick this Borg tube
Jack into the Matrix,
into his neck. Right. Just when Riker and Worf show up into the room and they're like, Captain or Jean-Luc. And then we see him go in, and then we get all these flashes. We get a lot of these scenes here from First Contact, and the Borg cubes and I don't know, geometric shapes and whatever.
Geometric shapes.
The
Borg love their geometric shapes.
Yeah, they do. They're all about it. And then they're in like sort of like this dreamscape where Picard is trying to reach Jack, and Jack is sort of lost and
Dave.
Yep.
I thought that what's his name? The guy who plays Jack. Anyway,
Ed Spilliers.
He was fantastic in this ending sequence and into the last scene of the show.
I agree. I loved it. I thought that this scene, both of them, I thought it was earned because they had set up these two's relationship, even though he's this brand new character only introduced this season. I feel like by the time we get here, I'm like, I buy it. Like, I buy this connection between these two, and it really works well.
But again, no mom around.
No one around. You know.
Yeah.
So they're in there. You know, we're trying to get out, and the Enterprise is waiting for its chance to fire. Supermaid.
Throw Spaceballs.
Yeah, and I think Jody is like, we're out of time. You know, because Jack doesn't want to leave the dreamscape, and Picard can't reach him right away, so we have to go. So hit the button, Beverly, and she does. And they're kind of like.
I like Geordi's look on his face though when they start firing though, because he's like, "Oh damn."
Yeah, and Troy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, but Troy had that same face like 10 minutes ago. Like it's.
I think it's like I like it. I think her.
You're not going to sell me on Troy. It's not happening.
She's never felt like this before. Come on. So it's
yeah, like every other time.
I've never sensed this before, Captain.
I've never sensed this before, Captain.
So the Enterprise.
What good are you? You don't know anything.
I don't know. I have a vague sense of something. Okay.
So Patrick Stewart snapped on her that one time. It's just like, we know that, you stupid cow, and then hid behind Brent Spiner.
Yeah,
I would have loved to see that.
The Borg Queen taunting them here. I guess Riker and Worf don't actually do anything here, do they?
No, they just kind of stand around and they're like looking at it. They're like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah, and he's like, "Today is a good day to die." But like, Riker, I guess, yeah, they couldn't leave Picard, but on the other hand, they didn't really accomplish anything.
Well, Riker basically said he's staying with him, right?
Well, he's with him. I guess while Picard is in like that Borg world, like, you know, he's not. Yeah. He's there in case. And we see the Enterprise D is trying to get to them as the Borg cube is blowing up at this point because the Enterprise is already fired upon it. And back here, and this is like one of my probably my favorite thing in the episode here, where Picard is like, no, like if you're not leaving, then I'm staying too. Here it is.
If ever there was better evidence that the past mattered, it's right here.
Oh no, that's the wrong one.
How many times has she managed to save?
That's the wrong Picard.
That's like near the end. Yeah.
No.
Then if you won't leave, I'll stay with you till the end. You have changed my life forever.
I liked it. Like, really good, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then this is what kind of, and then we get all these flashes from the previous episodes of their relationship. The time that Jack was almost killed by a changeling, and Picard was pretty relieved. You know, flashing over here. The time they were at the bar talking. I don't know. Like,
it's the son Picard always wanted because he hates kids and he's already an adult.
And he was over Wesley. You know, so
do
shut up, Wesley.
You know, and yeah, and then this brings Jack out. You know, he comes out of it, and Picard is pulling this out of his body.
They must have had a lot of time on that ship because in the amount of time, I think it's only 6 weeks or something since this whole series started, right? Like, it hasn't been too long since he found out he's got a son.
Yeah, it's probably like in the time of the show, it's probably a couple weeks.
That's why their flashback sequence was like 3 scenes that we saw. Like,
Yeah,
in the last
there wasn't a
like,
lot to
5
drop on.
That's right. You almost
would've been
died
like-
5 weeks ago. That was it.
If you were flashing with every moment.
Remember that
between-
time with the changeling and that chick who had that weird teleportation shit going on?
Remember
Yeah.
that time we went
Yesterday?
camping?
He's
and
like,
the
yeah, that was like
changeling kidnapped
2
me?
weeks ago, Dad.
Yeah, just so there was Jack here. Like he pulls out the tube on Picard, and he's like fully into it. And they have sort of a moment here, and I think that they can't get a lock on the transporter. They can't get a detection. Data can't get in there. But Troy's going to use her sensing powers, guys.
Hey,
She's
never sensed this before, Dave.
Well,
She's
Riker
using her connection with Riker. That's been
Riker said
established
goodbye,
countless
Imzadi.
times.
And he
It's
says
a great
like,
scene.
I'm going to be with our boy, referencing their dead son. He's joining them. Thaddeus. And so she's like, no, and she takes the con, and she's driving, Jody. You're not stopping her.
This is the shit. You're wrong, Jody. This is
She's
amazing.
gonna end up crashing the damn thing into the Borg cube.
No way. She's saving the day.
Yeah.
This time.
Ain't the flagship no more. Crash it if you need to.
It's just gonna be a museum ship. So
exactly.
Piece, no big deal.
Yeah. And then the Queen's like, you can't leave Jack. We're your family. He's like, I don't need the Borg or over. And Picard's like, yeah, that's right. He told you. That's what we're about.
Mini Locutus of Borg has spoken.
Yeah. Locutus Jr. Borg Queen. Oh man, she looks rough.
Well, you would be
Locutus of
too
Borg.
if you're eating your own people for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just like the ribs are sticking out and everything. I loved the way she
You
looked.
can't tell me they don't have any sort of intergalactic Wendy's or something that she could have stopped at. Like,
She got no Wendy's. She only has change. The changelings could have brought her Wendy's, but
she could have ate some changelings too. They wouldn't have missed them.
yeah.
They
Well,
got lots of them.
why did the changelings take orders from her? I don't really get that part. But
They were working together to get revenge.
But why would they take shit off of them? Like, that was like. the
Oh well.
part,
Yeah.
part I didn't get.
Well, finally, we
Vadic
know
was
who the
taking
head
some
was,
shit.
right? I guess that's the whole thing.
Vadic seemed like she was afraid of this Borg Queen. With that part, that's the part. Like in retrospect, I don't get.
What's interesting though, when you go back and look at that face that Vadic was always talking to,
That's
it
what
looks
I'm
just
saying.
like the Borg Queen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, now that we know that, right? But it's we didn't have the context because we thought she was talking to other changelings at first or something.
Well, you also have to remember 2 episodes ago, we didn't even know anything about the Borg.
Right.
Like the Borg wasn't.
We
part
didn't
of
think
the
they
story.
won't do the Borg for 3 seasons in a row.
Oh, I
Ooh.
called the Borg.
Yeah.
I called it.
Yeah. And just at that
See,
time,
Davan, I am right sometimes.
we see the lights come on. They get the lights.
Yeah, I
on.
called Candle
was-
Shapeshifter Sex Ghost.
Yeah. This was one of my favorite when the Enterprise D was above them, like when they were looking up like this. I loved this. This was
That was awesome. That was awesome.
That was a fantastic moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it swoops around, and just this look that Jack and Picard give each other as they're smiling, and they're like, "We're getting the hell out of here."
I love this shot though. Just seeing the underbelly of the Enterprise,
Yeah.
like up above them, it's just like, oh, that is so pretty.
Yeah, it looked great.
And
they get
Picard's just the smile like this crew and this ship always wins. He's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I freaking knew it. Like,
yeah,
Yeah, man.
Picard or Riker and Worf, even though
Riker's like, damn, these beam is
Actually,
bright.
if Riker wasn't there, then Troy wouldn't have been able to use the Imzadi connection. So there you go.
exactly.
And then the Borg Queen has her ultimate demise again. How many times are we going to see a Borg Queen die? But they always
At least
come
a
back.
couple.
They come back the very
Same
next day.
amount of times as Picard and Data.
If they do the Legacy show, the damn Borg will be back.
Of course.
We see the Borg, like the LaForge daughters and the other Titan crew show up, with their
So,
phasers.
so at this point, though, Dave, remember it also said we've lost connection. Just continue to follow the last order.
yeah,
That was
When we see the ships, they're like, we don't know what to do. We lost our Jack Crusher,
Which is pretty good considering the Borg at one point, the minute they got disconnected, they were like, fuck, we don't know what to do. We're just going to say
no, that's not what happened. They said do the last thing they told us to do. Continue with the bombardment. I thought.
Oh no, in this they did, but what I'm saying is in the series they never did. When
No.
they got disconnected, they were just useless shit. Like they did nothing. Yeah. So
In all of
I like
those
that they've
ships-
evolved that.
in all of those ships, they all were like taken over by the Borg. None of them were like, we only saw the Excelsior was the only other one that was able to kind of take back their ship, and they just got blown up because
That's the problem. So we could have missed more of that, but any ship that was retaken would have got destroyed by the rest of them.
yeah, I guess yeah. Anyway, so that Sydney and LaForge shows up here. They got the phasers going, and just because the Borg cube was just destroyed. Oh, there goes that queen. And we'll see if she stays dead this time. I wouldn't count on it. And then the cube's been blowing up for the last little few minutes at least.
This one's a very resilient one though.
Yeah, it was,
because usually when they blow up, they're green.
Right.
They blow up green instead of this color. And on top of that, like this one took like 20 minutes to blow up. Like usually they're a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So
And
they must have learned how to like reinforce these things better.
Yeah, but in like TNG era, things like a Borg cube would blow up, and there's just like a few little specks of glass as the debris.
Yeah.
It's like,
This is
where
my-
did
this-
all the debris go?
This looks much better than Best of Both Worlds
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, triumphing.
But what about all the pieces of this damn Borg thing? Like they're gonna hit the Earth, man. Like there's gonna be like pieces of this thing flying down from the sky.
No, it's all going to get pulled into Jupiter.
Yeah, I'll get put into Jupiter's gravity.
Nah, I don't know.
100%.
Yeah, and then we got Cindy LaForge. So we see her get deborgified, or the Borg thing. comes up.
I like to call her the good daughter.
She's the better actress. But she actually is one. So
Gorgeous
probably
too.
not. Yeah, not bad looking.
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl. That one. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and I liked her reaction here, where she was just like, "Oh my god," because I guess they remember everything, right, of that happened. So, and what they did.
Well, she's got like instant remorse too when she sees the
Yeah,
that she's
exactly.
got this. She's got a phaser in her hand and she's pointing it at
Yeah,
somebody
she's like,
else.
Oh, was I about to shoot you, Captain Seven? Sorry about that.
I like
so-
that, and I was hoping for that too, because if this was like a TNG episode, everyone just would have snapped out of it and just would have been like, oh, shrugged their shoulders and been like, that was weird.
Oh well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're there, and then we get this the call between the Enterprise D and the Titan. Well, I guess the first Jack comes back. Yeah, and so Picard comes up the turbo lift, and
See, now Jack doesn't have the face thing on anymore.
Oh yeah.
He's got a little bit of the rub wear on it, but
it looks like it was just glued to his face.
Didn't have time
He
to
ripped it off with the. Oh, he's like, use glue remover.
Yeah.
Well,
This
I
looks
thought this is a wasted scene though, because imagine he shows up and he still has a little laser shooting out. He's got like the fucking cybernetic thing, and then Beverly has kind of a flashback from fucking when Picard was right. Like
she had to get all that off of him back 35 years before. Yeah.
I think that's a wasted potential there. They could have easily did that.
They were out of time at this point.
That's why they took it off, because she wanted
They
to touch.
shouldn't
his
have been
face.
out of time. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Should have been a
add
90
20
minute.
minutes. Add another 20 minutes.
Yeah. So they have the hug. I love this moment here between Riker and Troy coming back together.
Except for their terrible kissing.
Wow.
He kisses everybody like that. That's a Riker
Oh,
thing.
it's so
That's a Riker kiss.
brutal.
That is. That's a 100% Riker kiss. He did it exactly like he used to.
Yeah, I like the
He eats
Data and
people's faces.
Geordi are having
Data and
moments.
Geordi, bromance thing.
They were
going
doing a
on
lot
there
of Data
like
and
that.
Geordi moments. I thought was very nice.
Yeah, that was
and
good.
then Worf shows up here. He's like, "Hey."
I love this scene that comes up after this though, where they're talking on the thing and fucking he's sleeping. I lived that life.
Yeah.
1 minute I'm talking, the next
Sit in
minute
one
I'm
of those
sleeping.
chairs.
Yeah.
Do you guys like this? Where they were posing on the view
That
screen?
was stupid.
Just the
Like,
four of
don't they
them?
have other things to do right now? Like pick up bodies and
I just the fact that they all got their arms
clean
crossed and
residue
they're
and-
putting their hands on their hips and I don't know. I think that's maybe my only when I'm looking at it like this. But it's very
Sydney has that very cover girl pose going on there with the one hand on the hip thing.
right.
Maybe she was born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
But yeah, Geordi was happy to see his daughters were de-assimilated or whatever. And then there's Worf sleeping.
I love the sleeping now. That's great. That was one thing I didn't expect, and I liked it. It was such a neat little nod.
Yeah.
Dude's old, man. He's gonna, once he feels he's safe, he's sleeping.
Right.
I do the same thing.
Jack, and then the Picard family now united and looking out. And welcome to the Enterprise D, Jack, and check her out.
Look at that well lit bridge.
I know, it's great.
In
Good-
widescreen.
It's like the whole ceiling is lights.
It's like they actually bought some lights. And the Enterprise D then flying.
Terry
side by
Metalis
side.
is like, this is too bright.
Yeah,
It
he's like,
ruins
"What's
all my enjoyment. You can
Right.
see the actors, and
Why
it's
can't
not
we
edgy.
why can't
I
you light
hate
up
it.
those light up those
Turn off the
impulse
lights.
engines? Light up those impulse engines. Come on, like
Dave.
you know.
Yeah.
Dave,
go.
get over it.
All right. So then we got a
And if they dim
montage.
the lights on the bridge, they could turn on some impulse lights.
We get a voiceover montage where like apparently Dr. Crusher has been promoted to the newly created Starfleet Medical Division, which I'm like, that already exists, and she already ran it before during season 2.
I know, that was so dumb.
Yeah,
I like that line.
She's an admiral now. They made her an admiral.
but she was wearing Commodore pips. Like it didn't. Like I was confused by that too.
Dave
so-
already wrote a letter to Paramount, just so you know.
Dear Terry Metalis.
Well, there was
Dear Terry,
earlier
why are you
this
screwing
season-
this shit up so easily?
Earlier this season, they called the other LaForge daughter, the one that's played by Jody or LeVar Burns' real daughter. He called her a lieutenant. She's definitely wearing ensign pips, guys.
That's true.
She was supposed to be an ensign, I thought.
Yeah, I just think maybe Picard just didn't bother to know. And we
Maybe
also saw
Picard's
that.
just going nuts, and he doesn't.
So
care.
they were able to use the transporters to cure the under 25-year-olds of their Borg affliction DNA.
and they also put in the ability to find the changelings.
Right.
Yeah, that's slick.
Yeah, and then we get this like
Good wrap up.
transition where we go from like the Titan to like the model in the
Go
conference
back.
room.
Go back to that screen for a second. One more. Changeling chemical signature. Oh, okay. Neat.
Yeah. So she's looking for a chemical. But it transitions here. Tuvok. He's like cured. He wasn't the real Tuvok, They didn't kill him, but they did torture him, I guess. And they're like, did you play Calto with 7 of 9? He eventually gave that up. Anyway, so how do you feel, Davan, about seeing Tuvok?
Oh, I love Tuvok. He's my favorite Vulcan ever. Give me more
Yeah?
Tuvok. Oh yeah.
Now,
I think the connection was missed here. It would have been better with Janeway if they brought her back,
or even have Janeway and Tuvok together.
When you go back and watch that show, Voyager, which I've been going through recently. I'm almost done.
I'm sorry.
I like
I
Voyager.
love Voyager.
I like Voyager
he's
past
really
season 3.
Tuvok is very much her mentor, other than the Doctor, who's also a mentor to her. But like,
And
you don't
Seven of-
see
and
him much.
Janeway.
And Janeway, but you don't really see as much of that.
You
Tuvok's
know what,
always
Davin?
been
The
like-
reason I didn't want him to see, we saw him already, and it was a small role, and this is a small role.
But that was Changeling Tuvok.
Yeah, we saw him already.
This is real Tuvok now.
He's a real Tuvok. Remember, like in Year of Hell, like she was the one that
And
would help
Janeway
him
got to be in the
in
movie.
morning.
So.
They were close. They had a close
Now-
relationship.
This whole thing here where Tuvok plays the message here from Shaw, who of course died in the last episode. So we,
Ooh.
I like how he's even an ass in the video review
But
thing.
they
too,
said
though. I
that
like it.
he sent this when they got to the Raiden system. Was the Raiden system when they ran into Rolaren?
No,
right,
the
and
Raiden-
it's when they stole his ship.
That's when they stole the ship.
Okay, this is my next issue with this episode. That why he would not have sent this message recommending her to be promoted to captain. He clearly didn't have a good relationship with her at that point in the show, right? And
I think he was expecting to die.
What do you mean?
I think he was expecting to die on that. Like he was on one of these crazy adventures with Picard and Riker. He was not.
He didn't know that
expecting
yet.
to make it home.
He didn't know that yet, though, because he sent this before they even
before they went to ride.
But
could
he
have
was
seen-
also like, in his quarters for a long time. He had nothing to do. Might as well do this.
Yeah.
This may- at
Well,
the
he's
time-
holding a coffee cup, right? So like he's probably like relaxing and doing these reviews, right?
Okay,
Yeah, I
7 of
get no
9 has
problem
only
with
been
that.
in Starfleet for like 2 months. Why? Like he's like, you know what? Even though we don't get along, and she thinks I'm a jerk, and I think
He
she's
doesn't follow
insubordinate,
rules.
you should totally promote her to captain. And I'm like, what? Like,
Well, remember, he doesn't like who he's become. Like he feels like he's a weak captain, and he admires.
Well,
her
and he even
strength
said
and
it.
her
He's
bravery.
like, I'm a relic of an old time, and
Yeah, he's like the
he
book's
did-
boring. I
when
found
she
the
it
book
reminded me
was
a lot
boring.
of Kirk in Generations.
like he was going to like decommission her and everything for helping to steal the ship, and whatever.
But that was after
He was probably testing
this
her.
review.
He was also probably testing her because of
This review
whole-
happened before the ship got commandeered.
Yeah, so then Dave's right. The timeline doesn't make sense in what he was.
I could have seen him sending this like when after they escaped the nebula together, and when they were meeting up with Laren. That I could have seen him sending that message then, but not at the very back in episode 1. But,
Or not
like.
We'll have to figure that out
because I just don't think that was the progression of the character. I think he softened on Seven and Picard and Riker as it went.
I think that's the whole point. Like he was always softened. He was being hard on her on purpose.
I don't like that point very much, so I reject that point. I'm docking half a point just for that on this episode.
Oh wow.
And so anyway,
that's harsh.
I know. That's how I roll. Anyway, but I Jerry Ryan tearing up, Tuvok almost smiling.
What does the not having the impulse engines lit give them? Like, how many points off for that?
That's a 1 point off, or 0.1.
Oh my God, we're down to an 8.5.
9.4. And then we get the stuff here. The stuff here with Raffi and she reunited with her daughter because Worf. But their whole issue, I'm gonna dock a point just for this too. There was this whole thing here where her family was like, the issue with her was that she always chose Starfleet over her family. Just because she's this hero that saved the galaxy doesn't change that.
Yeah, the whole Raffi thing has always been kind of stupid.
Go ahead, Jody, or one at a time.
Family angle.
Yeah,
go for it, Jody.
I was just saying, I think the whole her with this, this grandchild that she's never seen thing just went a little far. I didn't need it. They were just trying to get Raffi some screen time.
But no, they needed it because it was such a big problem for her at the beginning. She lost her family, lost her husband, lost
Dave's completely right. She's still the exact same. She hasn't learned anything.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed with her. She's
a hero.
Still,
not
only that, she's now an active member in Starfleet again.
Right, but she was before, so and the issues she
has.
I
think it was the fact that she's in Starfleet that strained her from. I know he said that.
He said that. What? Then you have to walk away from this mission right now. Whatever. And he was such a dick in that episode.
Well, her kid's a dick anyway. But
yeah,
still.
We saw that in season 1. Anyway, but apparently Worf, he did a takeover on all their monitors, and he was like, "Guess what? Your mom is like the greatest person ever, and you should totally be nice to her." And it worked. So, and there's a nice moment. I liked the Raffi Worf relationship in the season. So it was.
Yeah, me too.
It was good.
I'm glad that they put him with her, though. I think
tears are the body's weapon against pain.
Tears are the body's weapon against pain.
Since I have never wept.
I never feel pain. So, and then Troy was giving counseling to Data, who is apparently still very multiple men. He's dealing with all his lore and data and coming back to life, and probably got B4's memories going on too. And Troy's like trying to end the session, and then Data's like, no, I need more counseling.
I thought it was funny when she's looking for the vacation, at the same time there.
Yeah, she's like
do him at all.
Yeah, and it's like Trill, and there's like a whole bunch of different ones, and one of them is Orlando, Florida.
That comes in the bar later. That was like, and
later
Jordy's like, "Ooh, tough call, Orlando, or like whatever it was."
Prime or
Orlando, yeah. I don't even know what
she ain't gonna take him to Ryza, because if she takes him to Ryza, he's gonna whore out like he normally does.
Yeah, I did like when Riker called Data batshit here. I thought that was funny.
Still batshit.
Stop it.
Still batshit, he says. Yeah, and then we get a time jump, guys. 1 year later. After all that, come in here to the Fleet Museum. Just let's take it in for a second. Check out all the ships that we saw. Of course, the Voyager, and is this the NX-01 over here? Is that what this is? Yep. That's not the Enterprise original, but that's like I guess the USS New Jersey that they showed us. The Voyager,
New Jersey, yeah.
That almost looks like a Nebula class ship, Davan, up there.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Could be that could be the Sutherland or something.
Yeah, and there's at least 2 Klingon ships here. There's like this D7 here, and then there's this.
One of them is the Bounty.
This one's the Bounty.
Yeah.
This is the Enterprise A over here. And,
Defiant there somewhere.
The Defiant is somewhere. I think it's on the lower tier or the lower level.
Yeah, I think because there was some ships on the lower tier as well.
And this looks like, is this the Stargazer? The old Stargazer right here? Okay.
Yes.
That's neat. And then of course the Enterprise D is now in the museum. I was happy about this. See this.
And they've been standing on the bridge for 1 year.
One whole year, just standing there.
Didn't
'Cause
change
they
their
didn't want
clothes.
to turn out those lights.
They must
Yeah.
smell at this point.
Right.
If ever there was better evidence that the past mattered, it's right here.
How many times has she managed to save the world?
No doubt more than the years will allow 3 old men to remember.
You know, it's difficult to imagine what we all might have been without her.
Different, certainly. But certainly not better.
So, did anybody feel that this is where they should have actually ended the episode?
No.
It felt
Not
like
really.
it was that's what they were going to do, and then they tacked on the other part after.
I didn't mind that they finished with the poker scene, but maybe
Yeah,
they
like
could have
the
done.
Oh,
it.
I think the poker scene was a great way to stop it, but it just felt like there was a cutaway here, and it didn't feel like this was in the right order. Like, you know what I mean? Something
Yeah.
felt off about that scene. I don't know why, but
Okay, and then I guess they rebuilt the Earth space dock. Even though it looked like it was getting blown up pretty badly a year ago.
you
so-
know,
They fi-
Starfleet can
They
rebuild.
fix it in a year.
They fixed it
Especially
in
if
a-
it's Earth space dock. They're going
I
to fix
guess.
that immediately.
Doesn't
They
look, it
got
doesn't
spare
look
parts
worse. It doesn't
everywhere.
look worse for wear. Anyway, and so they're coming over here. Jack has been fast tracked through Starfleet. This is the other thing that pissed me off in the episode.
Yeah.
However, like they,
Fast tracking everyone these days.
Yeah,
They're
but you know,
fast-
Dave, they did recognize the whole nepotism. I'll take it because they did that.
Yeah.
well, at least they threw
Yeah,
that into
true.
lines. Even Wesley Crusher, after having served on the Enterprise for years and having participated in like the Battle of Wolf 359, they still made him go to the Academy for 4 years just for him to drop out right at the end, and then go on become with the Traveler and whatever. But I don't know. But of course, the other thing with two here is like Ed Spaliers is clearly like 38 years old, and they're like, it's okay, man, you don't need to go to school, so you're good.
But what bothered me was the position he got on the Titan, or sorry, the Enterprise, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's the other
Counselor,
thing. here.
Special counselor to the captain.
What the hell is that?
Okay,
There-
so
Oh,
the
this
whole
is a
decision, like,
good
oh,
point.
your first posting and whatever, and he's like, oh, the Titan. He goes, well, not exactly. Picard's all confused. This was a little bit like in Star Trek 4 when they don't know what ship they're going to, and then there's that reveal that it's the Enterprise A. And so this is now
G.
the Enterprise G. I didn't think they needed to rename the ship. I didn't like this. I thought,
Yeah, the fact that they renamed it and just didn't give us a brand new one, I think, kind of pisses me off.
Wanted
I
a
don't-
new one, yeah.
I thought like that was disrespectful to the legacy of the Titans and Captain Savick and Captain Riker after that. I know the Enterprise is a more iconic name in Starfleet, but
It's a better ship.
usually the Enterprise would be like the brand new flagship, and this ship's even been in service.
I
for
think
a few
that's what
years.
they're doing here. I think this is the flagship now.
I guess it is now, but maybe.
Star
Yeah.
Trek Legacy.
Well, do you like this ship better than the Enterprise F, which we only got a few glimpses of? But
Yeah, I think I
The
do.
Enterprise F was just a stretched out version of the E, was it not?
it's
No,
it's
this is
actually
like Voyager.
it's an Odyssey class, which was
Oh,
designed
is
in
it
Star
an
Trek
Odyssey
Online.
class? I didn't know that.
Designed in Star Trek Online,
Mhm.
and it's actually a pretty cool ship. But yeah, they're going Enterprise G, so we in Enterprise our Enterprise rewatch series. We're going to eventually get to the Enterprise J, which I guess came a few after this one. So yeah, we see the thing. I don't know. I was like, but you got us like loving the Titan all year. This was the Titan. Now it's the Enterprise. Okay.
They didn't need to do this. No, we
Yeah.
already got enough Enterprise D. Could have moved on.
Yeah. They could have just said you're going to serve on the Titan and whatever. But anyway,
This is the setting up for the next series.
I know, but they could have kept the name of the Titan. They didn't have
Actually, the post credit scene is actually the real setup, I think.
No, that was a nothing scene.
Nope.
Nothing.
Patrick Stewart was like, "Oh my God, it's another Enterprise! My son's gonna serve on the Enterprise."
I'm so proud.
And then, of course, Jack came in. He
Couldn't they have just put him on the F and called it a day? Like
Yeah,
they,
they
didn't,
should-
they didn't have to like rename a whole.
like,
ship
"F
for
you,
this.
Jack, you're going there." But anyway, I don't know why they couldn't why couldn't they give Seven the F? But instead, anyway, so Jack's
Why
trying to
couldn't
take
they
in-
give Seven the D? See what I did there? Anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Ready.
And what do you guys think about Raffi's now the first officer?
I'm fine with this.
Yeah. Send this
Sure.
up. Ignore Jack.
works well
Sydney
together.
says yes. I don't know. I feel like this bridge crew, has some chemistry together. If it's
I'd watch this show
Yeah.
with this crew.
I feel like this is
Mark my
kind of-
words, it's going to be a show.
when they first started the Picard 3 years ago or whatever it was in season 1, and they introduced us to all these characters like Raffi, but also like Elnor.
I hated Raffi.
Elnor and Girardi. I think that they eventually wanted there to be sort of like this torch passing, so that these new characters would come in.
And that's what the last scene is for. That is the torch pass.
I think that is. You're right. The post-credit scene. I think it's the torch pass. Like now we have a new.
It would have been had it been Keegan Delancey.
Oh, get over your fucking Keegan. The Qs don't fucking really age. Like they only age if they want to. Like
I like the
thinking
dying scene. It was the only good thing in season 2, and they just shit all over it.
You're so linear, Davan. You have to think.
You gotta think outside the box.
Q was always not linear. So what was he talking about dying in the first?
I don't know.
He died in one condition.
It's just to give us another reason not to care about season 2.
I am very, very happy with how that ended. Actually,
me too.
Yeah, we don't get to hear.
It was the only time in the entire episode where my jaw dropped, and I went, "Oh wow, I didn't expect that."
Well, I didn't think out of all the characters they're going to bring back him, and I'm still disappointed they didn't bring back Janeway. I would have liked to seen her.
I would have liked to see Colmini. I would like to have seen O'Brien.
Colmini would have been way better. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anything better than somebody they just killed.
And who was saying last week they thought Crusher was coming back? Wesley.
A lot of people thought Wesley would show up before the end.
I already knew he wasn't.
He keeps going on about Wesley, even though we already had the Wesley say goodbye moment.
Yeah,
there was even a whole bunch of things where he was like on set when they were shooting and stuff like that, but he wasn't in the show.
Yeah. No, he does all those after.
They did a huge disservice to him. They did a huge disservice in season 2 with him.
Yeah, it was a waste.
It was a total waste.
Because I think I would be excited to see Wesley Crusher come back in a more meaningful way. But the way they did in season 2 was so bad. So
he's too much of a MacGuffin. If he shows up, he can save the day if he wants. With a snap of the fingers. It's like Q.
I did love this final bar scene. I especially Gates McFadden, where she's like, "We need music and you gotta sing, Worf," and all that kind of stuff.
I wanted to see Troy drunk again. I wanted to see Troy like she was drunk in First Contact. It was like, what's that thing that she says all the time? Like, we don't have time for the time. Yeah,
we don't have time
because we're running out of time. Yeah,
we're running out of time. Whatever,
This was a nice way for the crew to end it together.
I wanted them to end with the song that they played in First Contact. That like hoochie coochie 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 coochie.
Oh, ooby dooby,
ooby dooby,
ooby dooby.
If it ended on ooby dooby, maybe
that would have been
amazing. Where's that when I need it?
And it'd be even better if like Riker looked up and went, "Oh," or something like that. Like he didn't like it.
Hey baby, jump over here when you do it. I wanna be here.
Can you imagine that? That would be cool. Troy's like, and Troy just like, she in her drunken fest just goes, "I love this song." Something like that.
Yeah, it's good. Something starts dancing.
They're playing my song.
There once was a girl.
I like this comment because he would still be an ensign.
Oh yeah, Dave, that was funny too.
That would have been funny.
Harry Kim.
I introduce you to Ensign Kim, and you're like, "Oh,
you'll make Lieutenant Junior grade one day. Don't worry."
No,
one
even
day,
better.
Ensign Kim.
Can I introduce you to the ensigns, Kim? And it's Harry Kim and his kid, who is also
an ensign. Yeah.
No, his kid actually is a lieutenant. That would be even funnier.
Yeah, that would be better. Lieutenant and Ensign Kim.
Yeah.
Picard's
and then he goes, "I'm the ensign."
Yeah. Picard's final speech, I thought, was kind of like confusing and didn't really pull me in too much. But
it wasn't his best speech.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. It was a quote.
It was like a quote. Was it from Moby Dick or something? Was that what he was doing?
I'm wondering if it's a Shakespeare thing.
It's Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, it kind of lost me. And then they were like, "Good speech, whatever." Jean-Luc, cheers, and they do it.
We're happy to ride the tide with you, Jean-Luc.
Happy to ride the tide, yeah. Anyway, they do, and then they were thinking about calling it a night, but then Picard pulls out the card.
I love that though. I love when he did that.
The ace of spades. The reaction was.
Look at Deanna. Deanna's like, "I'm gonna take all your money."
I haven't seen a deck of cards in ever. Worf was not looking excited.
Worf is just like,
"I want to go to bed."
I want to go to
just
bed.
want to sleep.
He does look tired.
He's a tired old Klingon now. Who
Tired
does,
old Klingon.
and he was
bat.
doing Mugato lectures in the morning. Mugato meditation.
Mugato lectures.
Yeah,
They're like,
Mugato
should we tell him?
technician. Yeah,
Should we tell him? Yeah. But yeah, Jordy's like, hell yeah, and they all getting in there. Even Data was rubbing his hands together. This was fun. You know, if they had done this on the Enterprise, maybe that would have been fun too.
The
but
table drove me absolutely nuts, though. That was such
It's
a
reflective
stupid table. Yeah,
yeah, it was a little an odd choice.
yeah.
And Worf was like, I fold, you know, it's just like his I fold, damn it.
Okay.
Fold, damn it.
Jordy's like, oh, did that just happen? Okay, you know, there's some good moments here, you know.
Worf still hates folding.
Yeah, I have to fold, and
I like when they do the kind of round table before they do the above shot. They do a kind of a round table, and you see them all like kind of just giggling and stuff like that.
Picard takes like this hand here, and he's taking all the chips, and they're all laughing, and you know that they're having fun doing this too, like which really helps. You know, in real life and in the show.
Well, I don't know if you guys caught him. He was on Kimball. Patrick Stewart was on Kimball the other day. And he was talking about it, and he's like, you know, it's this is my
Kimmel?
family, right? Yeah. Well, he was talking to Patrick Stewart, yeah. So
yeah, Jimmy Kimmel, is that who he meant? I was like, who's Kimball?
Jimmy Kimmel. Kimmel.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think with Terry Matalas? He wrote and directed these this last episode. Well, he wrote. I think.
Well, he did the last two, right?
He directed the last two, but he wrote this one and directed it. And it was
This was his masterpiece. This is a friggin'
I think
masterpiece, man.
good. I think he
pretty
did pretty good overall.
Pretty freaking good, you know.
I love this shot though. This shot is fantastic, and they just keep swirling around. I really like it.
Yeah,
and it goes over. It goes a little overboard, but it's really well done. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm a big cinematography guy, so I really like.
We get all their names, but they give us Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan, Michelle Hurd, and Ed Spaliers, who are actually the main cast members, and then everybody else is just a special guest. But this is such like. Is it though? Like, you know, like it felt like this was more the TNG season and show than anything else.
Yeah, but they were a guest star.
You want to replace?
Yeah.
Replace the regulars.
So they're all guest stars for the entire series, right?
Right.
This season.
There you go. Alex Krieg is the voice of the Borg Queen. Star Trek Picard. And then we get our post-credit scene.
I love how this transition happens too, where it goes from that table to this. I love that.
That's why they did it. Enterprise G. We see here Jack Crusher. He's got an Enterprise D model in his.
Do you have a shot of the picture?
Yep.
The picture is actually a promo picture. That was a picture of the opening of.
I'm at the award show.
I believe
like
it was actually in Generations. I think it was actually for Generations.
Oh, was it?
But in universe, when did Picard?
It's not in universe.
And Beverly dress up like this and go somewhere and get.
Well, and that's the thing. It kind of doesn't. It sticks out a bit because why would
weird?
Would, because we've seen Picard in a full dress outfit and it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, well, I just don't understand when this happened. Supposedly, even but anyway, it's
they just wanted a picture of the two of them when they were younger.
But they would have had. There's got to be a photo of Picard and Beverly Crusher from TNG era.
This is from TNG era though.
Oh, it is TNG era. Yeah.
I mean, like in costume or something. Like
there probably is.
But I think the whole point of this is to show like their relationship outside of their professional relationship. Like the two.
Jack's
of
had
them
a lot
together.
of model ships, just like myself. Yeah. And then there he is.
It's very dark again.
It's very dark, of course.
I love seeing Q.
Q, is that right?
Simple name for a complicated being.
I thought you
love that line. That's so good.
Here I was hoping the next generation wouldn't think so linearly.
Linear.
He's got a great voice.
I like how he said that too. I always thought the next generation would have a much better. Yeah.
Who would think so great. Linearly? Yeah.
Think so
oh, this is dumb. This is so dumb. So it was like, oh god, this is so stupid.
This is to set up the next series.
So was Q's thing. Yes, I know, but they didn't need that. They already did that on the bridge of 7 ship. Because they're not going to bring Q back for this new series forever. He's old. And why would you? Like, you bring in Q when you run out of ideas, basically. Like, they even talk about that on Deep Space Nine. They're like, season 1 was so bad, we even brought back Q. Like,
yeah.
So, And the
I don't hate
problem
it,
here,
but the fact, like, I'm just like looking back on season 2 and going, like, what was the point of all of it? You know?
yes, there was no point because, like, the whole point Q made in that
The
series,
point
in
of
that
season
season, is that
3 is
he
to
was
show
fit-
you that the first 2 seasons were garbage. That's the whole point.
No, but they ruined everything they did.
They're
there,
trying to
which I thought was pretty good
they're
with
trying to
Q.
redeem the show by making this season.
So is Q about Picard or is he about the judgment?
I don't know what he's on to here, you know. Like,
Well,
he doesn't give a two shits about Picard, is what this
he's
scene
going.
does.
He's
all
to-
about this judgment, and he doesn't
Yep.
care who he's judging.
Yep.
And that just ruins everything they did with the relationship between Q and Picard.
Is he meant to be like a younger
stupid scene?
A Q from before, like earlier in his life before he died? I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
No, he's got the shit in his eyes
for
still.
me.
If you look closely, he's still got the shit in his eyes, which I think is something that John
He actually
has in
has.
real life.
Yeah.
But they could have easily removed it, but they didn't.
No.
So
yeah, I'm here. We have lots to work to do together, Jack, or whatever the heck he says here. And then we get Walter Koenig, of course, Tim Russ, Todd Stashwick, and the others, Lieutenant Mura, Ensign Esmar, Dr. Uck.
What
Jay.
species is Esmar?
Oh, Esmar? I'd have to.
Does anybody actually know?
I'm
gonna look that up.
Major Barrett was, of course, back. I love that
It
voice.
was just like a cross between a Bolian and a Benzite. Who knows?
Yeah. No, so guys, I know we've been on here for almost 2 hours. I know it's been a long one. There's a lot to cover in this episode. You're looking up Esmer or whatever?
I'm trying to.
I got it. Esmer, Kova Esmer is a Halayan?
Non-binarian Hylian 25th century Starfleet Operations Division officer. Yeah.
We've seen a couple of them before. Kemi was one. I don't know. In what is it? Picard. They seem to be like there's a species they kind of invented for Picard. It looks like. Okay, guys, just for a couple whatever fun facts we can kind of get into here quickly, just before we rate the episode and call it a night. Ratings. Okay. Oh no. Trivia. What am I doing? Details. No, I need details. There we go. I had to skip dinner. I'm not thinking straight. Okay, Tim Russ returns as the actual Tuvok. We knew this. With this episode, Riker and Troy have appeared in 3 finales, including All Good Things. These Are the Voyages, and this.
We don't discuss These Are the Voyages.
I know. Well, we will eventually.
No, we don't need to. We're just going to stop it.
We're just going to skip that in there. That'll be the one we leave out. Worf has appeared in a different set of 3, All Good Things, What You Leave Behind, and this episode, and Seven and Tuvok have appeared in 2, Endgame and this one. And Beverly and Jody have appeared in another 2, All Good Things in this one too. I guess that would also go to Data. The toast that Data begins to deliver is the limerick he began to quote while affected by the polywater intoxication in the Next Generation episode, The Naked Now.
Oh yeah, okay.
There once was a girl from Venus whose body was shaped like a penis.
I was trying to remember what that was from, but I couldn't remember what episode it was from.
Like the series finale of Next Generation All Good Things, this episode also ends with the command crew of the Enterprise D playing poker. And when Q appears to Jack Crusher in 2402, he states that Jack should not think so linearly with regards to Q's death. Since the Q have the ability to travel through time, it is possible that when Q visited Jack, he was younger than he was during the events of the 2nd season of Picard. Sure.
That makes no sense for a nonlinear species. Do I have to explain how that works? Like,
I know.
Yeah. Anyway.
And we already talked about Anton Yelchin is the son of Walter Koenig. Okay, so let's get into the ratings and figure out what do we want to give this. So I think would Murphy give it a 10,
Q
right?
seems really sour in it for me.
Okay, 11 and bringing it in. Boom. Oh. Why is this not coming in?
I'm a non-linear species, but I only died in this 1 year.
Okay, 10 for Murphy. I'm giving this a 9.7. For the impulse engines and for a few other things. It goes down to 9.7. Jody.
I'm gonna give this a 9.5. I like last week's episode better, technically.
Davan, 10.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend.
He's got major problems with it, Dave.
He does, but he's
obviously it's a 10.
It's a 10.
Yes.
And Adam, where are you at?
It's nothing to do with the episode. The episode was over. They played the credits.
Dave, I'm giving her a 9, and I just felt it rushed.
It was rushed.
Yeah, I felt
It
like when I
was.
left, when it was over, I was like, oh, that's it. Like, there's not.
And I
more?
really did like last week's episode a lot.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, if I was to rate the whole season, I'd give her a 9.
Okay, well,
what
you
did I
actually you were to rate the whole season, you gave it an 8.8.
You gave it an 8.8.
Yeah,
Technically.
I bump it up.
I gave it an 8.8 too, though. Adam,
you guys tied. I was actually the lowest for the season. No, Murphy was 8.2.
No, Murphy was
because he was giving episode 6s and I think 4s maybe at one point.
Who was the highest?
You.
Oh,
he was the
well, gee, that's hard to figure out.
Davan was the highest, 9.6 average this season. Yeah, like you only had a couple here. IMDb score with 1,100 votes is 9.6 right now. Exactly what we gave it collectively, and that's exactly what it's going to average. Okay, and yeah, we talked about Terry. I don't know. I guess it's this 2401 and 2402. So
technically, yeah.
Do you think we're getting another season of Picard, or is this it?
Oh no, this series is done.
Because when they were
Star
like,
Trek Legacy is going to start up after this.
Legacy.
So if you just to quickly look here at our season ratings, we gave well, I know not everyone here voted on season 1, but our season 1 ratings were like 6.8, like, and then we averaged 7.7 on season 2. Although I'm thinking about going back and
season 2 has some good episodes though, but
it was bookended.
New stuff and
it was, yeah.
Like 1, 2, 3 were good.
It started good, then it got shit in the middle, then it got good again.
Well, like
it's like 3 Rios episodes in the middle of the season, and it's just like
him and that doctor. I was like, whatever. Like it doesn't.
The Rios arc didn't need to happen,
especially since they were written out of the show by the end anyway. So
speaking of which, what happened to Rios
and then get rid of them forever?
Yeah,
because what's her name had
we saw La Serena. We saw La Serena at the start of this series.
I know, but where is it right now?
This
Rafi
had
like
it.
left it somewhere. So
she didn't park it by the World Trade Center, did she?
She might have brought it to the Titan, or I mean the Enterprise G. I don't know if it would fit. Anyway, guys,
gonna have to pick between crab juice and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, love gosh.
Thanks for being here all season, and thanks to Murphy too, and everybody who's been commenting and liking the season. I know this was a long night, but we had a lot to unpack in this episode. This was like
we didn't rush. We didn't rush.
We did not rush. Not like that.
And speaking of finales, fellas. And speaking of Star Trek Legacy, we finally just recorded our season 1 finale on Locutors of Trek.
Oh yeah,
and it is on.
It's a long season.
Legacy of, it's like 2.5 years or something, 3 years.
Good.
But
that's a season.
It's on Legacy. It's on the Legacy of Star Trek. Well, it's a curated product, that audio podcast. It's good stuff.
Yeah, check it out. Locutors of Trek, our long format audio podcast on Live Long and Podcast. You can find it on our various channels. Our science division also does podcasts like Debate 9 last night with all the ladies. They were doing a full ladies debate with my wife and Pugsley's wife and Millard's wife. Ashley.
It's hilarious because they kept running over time on the free-for-alls because they wouldn't interrupt each other. It shows you the difference between an all-ladies version of Debate 9.
Shut up, Davan.
And Jody are on, and we're just like, Jody's like, shut up, Davan. You shut the hell up so I can finish my point. God damn it.
Well, it was funny how they're like, we're here to defend the honor of our husbands who have all been former champions of Debate 9. It's
true.
It was my favorite part. Anyway, and then, of course, we've been covering Star Trek Enterprise, Jody, every Monday. And Adam's
there too, just so you know.
Co-host of that podcast, where we're getting through season 3 and talking about the Xindi. You know,
Find these Xindi.
We're getting
ever feels closer. Like we've been doing it for 20 years, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, look who just showed up.
Coming in.
The man himself.
Wearing my Run HOH shirt that I can no longer sell because was it a record company has put a copyright strike against me?
Oh,
okay. Really?
Yeah,
for a shirt.
I have 2 copyright strikes in terms of my Redbubble page. One from a music company, I forget which one, and the other one from Atari because I made a shirt.
Atari tries to nail everybody.
Jaemeel, did you watch
the way they make money now?
That's how they make money. Yeah. So I watched Picard. I did watch Picard.
And what'd you think?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We're just wrapping up. So
Jeff's supposed to be joining possibly.
Jeff?
Jeff.
You seen it?
I haven't seen
Just
Jeff in
later?
years. I don't
He
even
hasn't
know
watched
if he
this season,
exists.
has he? Has he been watching?
I don't know.
Season?
I told him, I'm like, they're still on. We should just head over. And then I left. So I assume he's following me.
No.
Or you could just
Don't
be
assume
watching.
that.
Jeff,
He's
if you're
already
watching,
gone.
we appreciate you watching. How I felt about the show. Coming from a very emotional last episode, I was preparing myself to be emotionally hit hard in this one. And it wasn't the case, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? It's not always, the ride is ups and downs for the most part. They left it open. It was pretty heavy-handed in terms of that, right?
We already knew that going in. It was going to be another series anyway.
I'm always a believer, especially when you're ending a show and you raise the stakes so high. Okay.
Adam's like, I've had enough of this already. I'm leaving.
It's very long.
I think he had a hard stop.
He doesn't know. We don't normally go this long with Adam. So
Yeah.
it's,
I'm gonna go.
I was surprised that you guys were still talking. Anyways, I'll try to be quick. When you raise the stakes this high, I expect a pound of flesh, and I didn't get my pound of flesh. So I was a little disappointed.
It was too easy for everybody. That's what everyone was thinking. Scot free.
Yeah, I wanted some pound of flesh. I like the different character beats that we got with Crusher and Troy. It's great with Worf, with Riker, all great. I'm a little bit iffy on the whole Borg Queen arrangement there. Like, is it the Borg Queen from First Contact? And
Yes.
So there's a second Borg Queen. There's multiple.
There's a lot of Borg queens.
There's a lot of
always
Borg
been
queens.
a lot of Borg queens.
Yeah. Okay.
The one from Voyager was never the same one. From
That's very established already. Yeah.
Even when Alice Krieg came in at the end in the finale.
Yeah, they're like bees. There's lots of queens and lots of hives.
But like some of Seven's dialogue in season 2 made it seem like there was only one. Like there was a couple lines.
There was only one that she cared about at that point.
Yeah, there's one that she knows.
Yeah.
Her queen.
And where did that queen? Where was that queen?
They killed that queen.
Yeah.
No, that's the one.
Janeway killed that queen.
No, I mean, like, I'm talking about from season 2. That queen that became
she died in real life.
That actress died.
No, Alison Pill.
Well, that Alison Pill, she's busy.
Okay, the Alison Pill queen is actually from a different timeline.
Yeah, true.
Okay. All right. Let's.
Anyways, it was very nice ending. I could have done without the, next time on Picard ?
Is that what came up? I didn't see that.
Well, I mean, his last name is Picard, so you got your Burnham situation happening in the next series. Where if
give me a rating, Jaemeel. Tell me what this was.
7.8.
We don't have 2 hours for you, Jaemeel.
7.8.
Yeah,
7.8. Really?
Wow.
Okay.
It's harsh.
You did not see my ratings for the rest of this season, so I think 7.8 was very fair. You establish a baseline, and then you go from there.
Okay. Well,
everybody has the right to their opinion.
I know, but
True, but I'm going to storm up angrily now.
I would give the previous episode a 10.
Previous episode of 10? Okay.
Yes.
I would completely agree with you. I think Vox was a better episode.
Good night, man.
Later, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for everyone who's been here tonight. We've had the whole a lot of different podcasters. We were just saying about the shows. Deep Space Nine on Tuesdays. We're wrapping up our season 6 rewatch reviews. Check those things out. And we've been doing Picard. We'll be back for Strange New Worlds in June. Talking about all those new episodes. We just did a trailer reaction tonight. Davin and I did talking about what.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Section 31. Oh no, for Strange New Worlds. And the announcement about Section 31.
Yeah, we talked about that tonight too before we did this podcast. I've been in this chair for like 3 hours talking about Star Trek.
That's only going to be the movie, though, right? That's not the series.
That's a special movie event with Michelle Yeoh and everything else. Davin and I shared our thoughts on that. You can check that out. And we also, what was the other thing? The new Starfleet Academy show is the other thing we reacted to tonight.
Adam says the reason why he disconnected was because the dog.
And he was probably just like, "Will they ever end this podcast?" But
that's rather convenient.
Yeah, but it was a good one, guys.
It's a special hand signal to get like their train. Do it.
Live long and podcast, of course.
Yes.
Adam and guys, so we all these great podcasts, our Star Trek Radio Theater, we have all kinds of fun stuff. You should definitely check all of that out. I won't go on too much longer. We're part of a United Federation of Podcasts, a network of shows. You can go to our website, ufpodcasts.com. That we got Trivial Debates, we got KBBBL, the Simpsons podcast on Fridays, we got Super Mario Brothers, Amen on Track, a music podcast, we got X-Rated, we got the Graphic Histories.
He invited me for an episode, actually.
We got so many fun podcasts in different realms. Like Jaemeel, you were on tonight talking about Big Brother Canada, and we also did Survivor last night. Shaw was the pound of flesh.
Shaw was last episode.
Yeah, that's why you gave it a 10. That's why you gave that one a 10. You're like, if someone doesn't die in every episode, Jameel's
this specific episode. You like if the stakes then win.
There has to be high stakes. I agree with Jaemeel on that.
Okay, it's okay. We're wrapping up, guys. Yeah. But how was Big Brother tonight? I didn't see it yet. No? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right. That good?
It sounds like that has to be an episode.
Okay, well, I'll have to go check that out.
I'll tell you who HOH is after.
Okay. And what else do we want to talk about, guys? I think those are all our shows. I really had a ton of fun.
Hold up
tonight.
next week. Check it out.
Hold up next week. Yeah. And I'm running out of brain power. So I'm going to cut off this podcast and we'll go out here on a quote. Thanks so much for being here this season. And we'll be back for the next show. I guess it's Strange New Worlds. Okay. See you, everyone. Thanks, Jaemeel. Thanks, Jody. Thanks to Adam and Davan for being here too. And let's initiate the shutdown sequence.
Computer, initiate shutdown sequence.
Shutdown procedure initiated.
I missed that voice.
Take care of her, Jody.
Yes, sir. After all, she's always taking good care of us.
See you next time, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Give me emotion.